basis. Sometimes. On a daily basis. Stress. Sometimes. On a daily basis. Stress. Sometimes. Let's start at the beginning. Way back when the pig and the cockroach were involved in an experiment to make a new staple food source in the early 80s, inventing delicious hybrid six-legged pigs and nuclear bomb-resistant bacon on the cob. It failed. Mom and Dad found my ass inside a trash can. The discarded bug larva, snorting, burping, farting, smelling worse than a Wendy's chili-filled cum dumpster. The couple picked me up, screaming, "What the fuck?" Figuring that their cats would use a new chew toy. I got adopted, passed off as a mutated human. Boy, I was raised by TV, wrestling, Chef Boyardee's, and unlimited supply of feline feces.
It's not true.
It's true. I got doo-doo-doos, dude. I got doo-doo-doos, dude. On to chapter 2, titled
Super.
Street Fighter 2, Autism Edition, obsessed with pretending I'm becoming the best. Instead, I failed the mission. Traveling country, sucking at tournaments, getting laughed at like a traveling circus clown, blaming arcades literally every time. My brain shut down. The drains, missing all my shots, like stormtroopers, eating more shit than a pooper scooper, always feeling like a gouty outsider. Till finally one day, I got 4th place in a Street Fighter game 4 people played. Now, look, listen, follow my logic. I was a troll, asshole, alcoholic, sipping gin and tonic, lying to the fact that ironic on top of idiotic. I was moronic, or paranoid, a chronic smoker, choking more often than a neurotic, Jared Leto's Joker. Why am I not? And then I ran away empty-handed. Both my friends I betrayed along the way. I monetized them to this very day. The straw that broke the camel's back for me. I was confronted once out in public about my threats to beat people with sticks, and I pulled my legs back behind my thorax, shit my hand, and cried like a pig roach. Fat.
It's not true.
It's true. Doo-doo. I got doo-doo-doos, dude. I got doo-doo-doos, dude. Curses, shit got worse and worse. The 3rd verse hurts me even worse than the first. Just imagine wagging it, trying to relax, fulfilling your thirst, and blowing your load of Alfredo cheese sauce over a PG-13 YouTube stream. Riddle me this: do you throw in a towel, give up on YouTube dreams, turn off the computer, become a commuter to 9 to 5, earning an honest living, or choose the alternative life like a laughing stock, eternally existing as a narcissistic, perpetually begging micro cock?
It's not true.
It's true.
What the fuck did I do? What did I get myself into?
You're my 4th place trophy.
Gosh, one of those days.
At least until the day for the alimony payments.
Yay!
I got doo-doo-doos, dude. I got doo-doo-doos, dude. Woo! I have a legacy. I put in the work after all this time. I'm known for a jerk. And if you have a membership, I'll give you a perk. Money. We're here for money. I was a pioneer of making commentary. I was right up to the top. Despite my adversaries, I'm never gonna stop. Quite the contrary. When you're the best, you outlast the rest But now it's time to put on a vest, right? 3, 2, 1, go! Status quo is not the way to go, you know? Status quo is not the way to go. Ha, ha. Status quo is not the way to go, you know? Only I am the lucky one. People watch my streams to see if I fail and then try to strike my channel, but to no avail. No matter what they do, I always will prevail. This is how you don't play. How about DSP tries it? The fact I'm still around, I know the trolls are spies. You'll miss me when I'm gone. I know you can't deny it. When you're the best, you outlast the rest. I outlasted those motherfuckers. But now it's time to put on a vest, right? 3, 2, 1, go! Status quo is not the way to go, you know? Status quo is not the way to go. Ha, ha. Status quo is not the way to go, you know? Only I am the exception to the rule. And so, sadly, the innovators get left in the dust. It's only those who break the records who really get remembered. So I don't think I will be remembered. If anything, you know, it'll be my body of work that speaks for me, you know, one day when I'm gone. And hopefully my body of work will be on the internet forever, but we certainly don't know how long YouTube's gonna last. So who fucking knows, right? When you're the best, you outlast the rest. I outlasted those motherfuckers. But now it's time to put on a vest, right? 3, 2, 1, go! Thank you for the membership.
Hello, hello, hello. Good morning. Good morning, everybody. Oh, big ups Hum Along for the membership right off the bat. And thank you, King Jad, for getting on me about reminding people. I am terrible at reminding people to engage with the stream.
Thank you for the membership.
King Jad says 100 likes on this stream will get him a free space at bingo later. So consider that. I'm going to try something today. I'm going to do two things. We're going to watch DS Politics. This is from DSP's Kick channel. So straight from the source, you got it. And we're going to do call-in segments. I have the ability to do Discord call-ins, and I have the ability for you to call in on an actual phone number. That's right. I registered an actual phone number for this because I'm a no-life mouth-drooling troll who registered a phone number for this stream. So get ready, I guess. I'm really excited about this. I've actually been looking forward to doing this all week. There will be call-in segments. I want to do 2. But before we get to the call-in segment, I want to start this DS Politics thing. It is, well, I am going to write it off as a business expense, Len. I am. The VoIP line I registered for this particular stream, I will write it off as a business expense. So I guess technically. But here we go. This is DS Politics. We're getting right into it. Good morning, everybody. Hold on to your butts. Yeah, feel free to prank me, King Jad. That would be perfectly good. That'd be great. Oh, wait, we can't skip the intro. I was impatient. Here we go! DS Politics. Yes! This is very fun. I actually, like, this intro's dumb, but it's very fun. Like, I'll take it. I'll take it. This is really dumb. And whatever AI they use does not know how to put glasses on DSP. It's very funny to me. It also doesn't know how to do the Trump hair on DSP. Exactly.
All right, all right. Good evening, everyone. Hello and welcome to the show. I'm DSP and this is DS Politics, episode 2.
All right, here we go.
For Thursday, the 21st of November, 2024. Being live streamed exclusively here on
Oh, by the
Kick,
way,
on
I said we're going to watch it at 1.5 speed, and we are.
Welcome, everyone. I hope that you're having a good evening. I hope that things are treating you well. It's been a wild week, that's for sure, both in my personal life,
I do not have the
also
stamina to forego the speed juice
in the 2 hours or so that we stream. So, how's it going to go? Let's talk. So, this week, I have 4 different major topics to discuss. 4. The topics include...
So get ready.
Fruit Loops. Yes, I'm not kidding. It's actually a political discussion. Fruit Loops.
Fruit Loops. Also, I love FL Studios.
And how long it's gone on, and new developments. Also, chaos in Seattle. I live
yes,
in
normal speed is reserved for Guantanamo visitors. That's a good point, King
Jed. I talk about it on my streams casually. Tonight we're going to formally look into it and address
it. Would be a
and
form
of
of torture.
Trump derangement syndrome is also going on since Donald Trump won the 2024 presidential election, and we're going to look at a couple of cases of that that are very scary and very sad. If we have time, depending on how the show goes tonight, because you never know with a political show how long you're going to talk about any particular topic in general, we have some random stories that we can like blast off at like a lightning round.
Apparently, Mr. Extravagant.
And I have a funny story to end.
Apparently, RFK had some stuff to say about Fruit Loops.
You know, hopefully
we'll get into it.
Don't feel like I'm beating around the bush on any particular topic or anything like that. Now, first off, I want to say thank you very much. I just received a gifted sub from where did it go? From Obama Phone Pro Max 5G. Thanks, Obama Phone Pro Max 5G, for the first.
I've seen Obama Phone Pro Max 5G in troll chats too. Like I've seen him in DDM, and I've seen him.
And because of that,
I've seen him other places. I've seen that guy.
3 different ways. Subscribing to the channel yourself and becoming part of the Founders Club. We still have about 40 spots left for people who become one of the first 100 legit subs of the channel and earning a special number.
I think Obama Phone's a LARPer, but do not give money to Phil.
Your fellow viewer, which I'm sure they would.
You don't need to give money to LARP.
You can tip me. Tipping you can do by looking at the description of the stream or the About page here on
People
Kick.
Should know.
That goes straight to my PayPal. Either of those methods are great. They help a lot. I get a lot from them, thankfully. Actually, more than when I stream on YouTube. So, yeah, if you could contribute tonight, please do. This is still a stream in my stream of amazing support. 76 straight streams of hitting the goals and crushing my trolls. We want to keep that going.
76 straight streams.
Okay?
76 straight streams. You know what that means, guys? Only 200 more to go. Actually, no. 201 more to go before he plays Stellar Blade. So get ready. Get ready for him to play Stellar Blade. By that time, it might even be on PC. Who knows?
In fact, if we exceed the goals tonight, it actually helps for me to do an awesome double or triple special taste test. Because I told my audience earlier today that if we exceeded the goal, that I go above and beyond.
Yeah, we're time traveling.
Let's get it. Let's get it going.
This is before the burger thing we
I want to say
watched.
before we begin tonight. Thank you so much to those of you who became submissions tier members over on my DSP Reacts channel on YouTube.
All right, I don't care.
At the submissions tier.
I don't care about this.
Probably try to do like 2 a day. To do.
I don't care.
Man, this is just so much more refreshing when I'm.
Shut up. All right, here we go.
All right. So you might say, what's our first story of the night? Fruit Loops. I'm not kidding. Our first story of the night is Fruit Loops. Ladies and gentlemen, this is RFK Jr. Robert F. Kennedy Jr. RFK Jr. for short. He very soon will be a major political figure in the United States. He has been, or is going to be appointed, the health secretary of the United States when Donald Trump becomes president next year and is sworn in. So, already there's controversy, chaos, and problems because he was interviewed with NBC News on November 6th. And during this interview, he said the following quote: "Why do we have Fruit Loops in this country that have 18 or 19 ingredients, and you can go to Canada and it's not 2 or 3? And as you can see directly in this article from Newsweek, this was directly after criticizing food regulation agencies such as the U.S. Food and Drug Administration for not protecting our kids from harmful ingredients in ultra-processed foods." Okay? So,
you know, I'm not a fan of RFK per se. However, that's actually like a pretty logical and reasonable take. Like, hey, how come I can buy Fruit Loops somewhere else and there'll be 3 or 4 ingredients, but there's 19 in the US, including high fructose corn syrup? That's actually a decent point. I kind of agree with him.
Robert F. Kennedy is basically saying many different things recently. Some of the things he's been saying is we have some practices in the United States that don't make sense.
Don't worry
like
if you can't call in.
Drinking water, among other things. Now,
I'll do call-in shows at different times. I honestly am not going to know what works. I'm going to experiment, as DSP says, with different times and topics, but
I'm not a scientist.
It'll be fun.
And I'm not here to sit here and comment on each individual claim that's been said. I don't know. All right. But in regards to this story, it's been covered by quite a few different news outlets. But the weird thing about the story is that depending on which outlet you watch, the story is covered absolutely, completely differently.
It's almost like different news outlets have different agendas and biases. Almost like they're paid to report a certain way, or at least lean a certain way. Politically biased news has been around since there has been news, DSP. Propaganda is not new.
Okay, so let's go ahead and continue with the Newsweek coverage, and then I'm going to show you a completely different way the story was covered, and then we're going to decide what is the truth of the matter.
King Jad raises a good point, but the president is the guy who loves McDonald's, which has arguably done far more to damage the nation's health. That's correct. McDonald's not only is responsible for a lot of health concerns amongst Americans and honestly people throughout the world, but even McDonald's in different parts of the world are more highly regulated and serve better, healthier food. But also McDonald's has fucked up the meatpacking industry so much. They fucked up the agricultural industry as well, because they basically have a monopoly on the potatoes. Like the potatoes bought and prepared in America, like 90-something% of them are purchased and held by the McDonald's Corporation. It's insane if you really look into it.
All right. So just from a cursory glance, what it sounds to me like is that RFK, or RFK Jr., I call him RFK Jr., here they just say RFK, is saying that it sounds like in the United States, we tend to have food that isn't regulated.
Yeah, Len, you can call in with toilet flushing noises. That if people want to call in with bits, they can call in with bits. That's kind of the point of a call-in show. So if people want to just have recurring bits, let's do this.
Enough. That our food has all these chemical and ingredients in them that likely aren't good.
I'll do a segment when he moves on to his next topic. I think the first call-in segment should be about Fruit Loops. That sounds good.
Looking at the situation and saying, hey, let's stop this. Let's make it so that they can't use these ingredients here if they're not using them elsewhere. Okay? Sounds like he has the best interest of the citizens at hand. However, if you take a look at the rest of the Newsweek article, you may actually start to wonder about that. Here we go. The claim that U.S. Fruit Loops contain 18 or 19 ingredients is false. Such also is the claim that the Canadian version only has 2 or 3. In fact, both versions of Fruit Loops contain 27 ingredients, including ingredients that would put the cereal firmly in the category of ultra-processed, linked to obesity, diabetes, and other metabolic diseases. Miss Lisa Moskovitz, a registered dietitian and founder of the New York Nutrition Group, told Newsweek, I believe people consuming Fruit Loops or giving it to their family are generally aware it's not the most nutritious choice, no matter what it's recommended to consume in moderation, and is not an everyday breakfast
Correct.
Staple. Okay, ladies and gentlemen.
That is 100% correct. When you go to a store and you buy sugar cereal, you know it's not good for you. Like, you know it's not fit for human consumption. It's what I was talking about last time I streamed, when we watched him eat hamburgers and then we watched him eat Stalker. Like, when you buy slop, you know it's slop. Like, no one's buying Fruit Loops or like Cocoa Puffs thinking that they're a good, healthy cereal. They buy them because they taste good. I'm a Cheerios man. I'm generally eating either Cheerios or oatmeal because they're pretty like inoffensive breakfast options, but I occasionally will buy sugar cereal like Cookie Crisps or Golden Grams or whatever because they taste good. Sometimes you just want a cereal that tastes good.
Officially, I'm here to tell you the opinion of Lisa Moskovitz. We're going to flag it here, okay?
Oh, look at him. Look at him using highlighting tools in his browser. DSP is leveled up, guys. Oh my God.
It's completely invalid to the fucking point. What RFK Jr. is saying is that we have the same foods as other countries, and it seems like we have a million chemicals and ingredients in them. Why?
No. Oh my God. DSP like missed the whole point that this Lisa Moskovitch person is saying. Lisa Moskovitch was trying to very politely and diplomatically say that RFK Jr. doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about with Fruit Loops. Like, she basically was like, well, people have to be responsible. Like Lisa Moskovitch was basically trying to make the point of people have to be responsible about the food they consume. We can't regulate absolutely everything, which is a very good opinion. Like, I consider myself a mature adult. I understand when I'm eating healthy food and I understand when I'm eating bullshit. I am no stranger to that. And I think we have to treat stupid people like they're stupid and smart people like they're smart. And I think RFK is kind of assuming that if you put bullshit in front of someone, they will eat it. not understanding that it's bullshit, but that's not true. Like, people know when they're eating slop.
And can we fix that? She says, oh, well, Fruit Loops isn't healthy for you anyway. That's not the point. No one was saying that it was healthy. No one's saying that Fruit Loops is a crazy good food. So why are you even bringing that up? That's like saying if RFK Jr. said, oh, we found a candy bar that has poison in it, take the poison out. And then Lisa Moskovitz says, well, candy's not good for you anyway.
Yeah, but you just said that's not the point. Wait, is he debunking himself? I think he's debunking himself. Because earlier on, he just said, well, yeah, I guess this is a problem. And then he said, well, why are we calling the health of the food into question if it's down to personal responsibility? And now he's just saying, why should the people be left to be responsible for themselves? This is like literally a causal loop he's working himself into. He has attempted to support his point and debunked his point all in the span of like 37 seconds. I understand. So when I told a couple people in DMs over the past few days that I was doing this, and every single person was like, hey, good luck, man. Good luck with DS Politics plus Colin show, because it's retarded. And it is. It's very retarded.
So what, stupid? What a dumb thing to say. Seriously. Exactly. So if it's junk food or it's not good for you, it's okay to have like poisons in it. That's fine. Wow, what a great opinion, huh? Okay, now. However, the ingredients of the two versions do differ.
No, she's not saying it's okay. Like, she's not saying it's okay that food has bullshit in it. She's basically saying it's a reality of the world we live in. Like, foods are going to be super processed, and super processed foods are bad for you, and super processed foods are often cheaper. But part of the freedom of living in America and other such westernized country is we have the freedom to stuff our face with bullshit if we want. I'm extrapolating Lisa Moskowitz's point a lot, but I believe that's what she's getting at. I think she basically is saying it's not that deep. People should be smarter, and they have the ability to choose. And this is all very rich, and I know that we've time traveled, but this is all very rich coming from the guy who orders and eats multiple slop burgers on stream. Like, why is he being some kind of paragon of health virtue? You order multiple burgers on stream and you eat them in front of us. Like, what are you talking about?
For instance, the food flavorings and colorings used by US Fruit Loops are red 40, yellow 5, blue 1, and yellow 6. In Canada, Fruit Loops are flavored with concentrated carrot juice, annatto turmeric, concentrated watermelon juice, concentrated blueberry juice, concentrated wheat.
I hate the way he says concentrated watermelon. It's the worst. It's almost like how Hank Hill says it. You know how Hank Hill says his teas, where he said, I went down to the local AutoZone to get some new spark plugs or whatever. It's almost that, which I find funny, but not quite. I just think it's annoying when Phil does it.
Juice, I don't even know what that is, and stevia leaf extract. So what does that mean? It means that the Canadian versions of food are using natural ingredients that we already consume as parts of other recipes that won't make you sick. So why are we using chemicals in the US instead of these things that the other countries are using? I'm sorry, but just reading the Newsweek article seems to be proving RFK Jr.'s point.
I mean, no, it doesn't. I'd even say that both points are valid. I think two things can be true. I think point A of we should let people decide what they consume could be true. Point B also could be true, you know, for the fact that, hey, maybe we should take more precautions at a government level about what is in our food, what is in our highly processed or super processed foods. Like, two things can be true. I don't understand. Well, no, I do understand why DSP doesn't think two things can be true, because he has a baby brain and he only speaks in absolutes and total binaries. But two things can be true. It's very obvious.
Moskovitz says, when comparing U.S. Fruit Loops to other countries like Canada, it's clear the U.S. falls short on protecting our consumers. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. So you're confirming what he said. Okay? Research shows additive.
No, she's not confirming what he, well, in a way she's confirming what he says, but she's also like not totally agreeing with it. She's also saying, I'm going to do the Cobra thing. She is saying that we do need to do better with our super processed foods, but also people need to be educated consumers and not be idiots and understand when they're consuming slop.
like Red 40 are safe in small quantities, but in larger quantities,
Morning,
can lead to
Redbird.
various health conditions, from behavioral problems to inflammatory gastrointestinal issues. I remember when I was a kid, okay?
Oh my
Kids
God.
in school always said, oh, you gotta be careful. Don't eat stuff that has yellow 5. And this was elementary school. And I'm like, why? Why wouldn't I want yellow 5? And people would be like, because I'm not even kidding you. This is what my classmates said. They said, oh, because when you grow up, it's gonna make your penis small.
Yeah, but okay. So this whole article is predicated on RFK basically repeating a rumor that he heard. Repeating like a cafeteria or schoolyard style rumor that he heard. And he's like, well, I've been told some ingredients in Fruit Loops are bad for you. And then Phil is parroting the exact same story like back about yellow 5 food coloring that he heard as a child. That doesn't prove your point, my guy. Bringing up a childhood anecdote about children telling other children something is bad with no substantiation whatsoever does not prove your point, Phil. It actually lessens your position, you overwhelming idiot. Oh my God.
You're gonna be impotent.
And there were also kids saying that like wearing tidy whities lowered your sperm count or whatever. There's a ton of kids are stupid. Kids say dumb shit. Kids are stupid. Where have you been?
Oh, okay, thanks for telling me. By the way, how old am I? And you're telling me this? So now kids are like scrambling in class at like their lunches. They're looking at the ingredients on the bags. Is there yellow 5 in this? Is there yellow 5? I'm not kidding that this happened when I was a kid in elementary school. It actually happened, okay? So let's continue. Dr. Frederica Amati, head nutritionist at nutrition science company Zoe.
Yeah, fluctuating miasma, great point. I was told girls had cooties as a child. Yes. We were all told girls had cooties as a child, but I love women. I grew up to love women, okay? I love boobs. They're like my favorite thing.
Told Newsweek Fruit Loops are not healthy. Whichever way you look at them, they're high in sugar, highly... Okay, I don't care. Hello, Dr. Frederica Amati. Your opinion doesn't matter. That's not the topic.
Yeah, but didn't he... Well, no, he didn't just say, because I have to be clear about the timeline. This happened on Thursday. Didn't he say either later on Thursday or sometime on Friday, didn't he say Rich is fat because of lifestyle choices? Didn't he say that Rich is fat because he eats fatty and super processed foods? Didn't he literally say that after this? Which would shoot this whole... Okay, so King Jad says he said it Friday. Yeah, you know King Jad because you perform a service of watching him every single day. So big ups to you. But I remember him saying something that Rich is fat because he eats the wrong food and he makes bad life choices. My guy, come on, my brother in Christ.
We're talking about chemicals in the food. No one asked you if Fruit Loops are healthy. This opinion is invalid to the fucking talk we're having here. Eating them less frequently is the... Okay, ignore.
No, frequency of eating bullshit does matter. What's the saying that DSP uses? DSP uses this saying at least once a week, and you guys will know when I say it. Everything in moderation. He loves to say that. Everything in moderation. Everything in moderation. Everything in moderation. And that's true. That actually is like a true saying for how you live your life. If you eat a bowl of Fruit Loops every once in a while, it's not going to kill you. I went out to the grocery store yesterday and I bought ice cream. Ice cream is not good for you. Ice cream is not good for your body, but it can be good for your soul if you want 2 scoops of ice cream or a milkshake every once in a while. Yeah, no doctor is going to recommend you eat ice cream, but there's a place for it. There's a place for junk food in your life.
Stupidity. Let's continue. Red 40, otherwise known as Allura Red or E129, has been linked by some scientific studies to allergies, migraines, and certain mental disorders, such as attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, ADHD, in children. Oh, so let's be sure to give our kids extra Red 40 so they could have ADHD and start bouncing off the fucking walls, right?
Yeah, but I also don't think that any of these studies conclusively ruled that there is, like, correlation does not amount to causation. Like, there have been studies that have pointed to certain children that consume large amounts of these dyes, such as Red 40 and, you know, whatever else, that end up having ADHD symptoms or ADHD manifestations. But that doesn't mean it caused the ADHD. Like, he's not going a step further. Like, he's not thinking critically at all about what this article says at all.
Yellow 5. It's on here. Are you kidding me? I swear I didn't read the whole article ahead of time. Yellow 5.
Yes, you did. You absolutely pre-read this article. Moving on.
Otherwise known as tartrazine or E102 has been linked to hyperactivity and ADHD in children. Oh God, so you're giving them 2 different ADHD colors and has been associated with a high risk of certain cancers. So it has nothing to do with a small penis. All right, at least I'm relieved.
It has nothing to do with a small penis. Okay, sure, great.
And oh, is that it? And here's the whole list of ingredients compared to
yeah,
Canadian.
but so the Canadian list here, I'm gonna. Oh no, Kick doesn't have the same YouTube keyboard controls. How easy is it?
It's
How easy is it to go
WWE
back?
Champions
What's up, Meth Bear?
time.
Thanks for the support. Meth Bear says, I knew a guy who said he didn't need to use protection because he drank so much Mountain Dew and the Yellow 5 made his sperm less potent. A scholar of our time.
And I'm sure that did not end well for him. Big ups, Meth Bear. Thank you for the 10.
certain cancers. So it has nothing to do with a small penis. All right, at least I'm relieved. And oh, is that it? And here's the whole.
Yeah, so if you look at him scroll the list of American Fruit Loops, right? Compared to Canada, there's not that many fewer ingredients between Canada and US. Like, I think what this Lisa Moskovitz person was pointing out is that, yeah, like Canada swaps out and forgoes a few ingredients, but it's not that deep. Like, she basically was very diplomatically saying, like, it's not that deep. Like, people need to be smart.
Canadian Fruit Loops, right? So that's the article. Now here's the funny part.
Blame Canada. Fuck you, Snood. Get out of here.
Read the whole thing, right? If you actually read this article, I highlighted the parts that are important versus the parts that are bullshit. So out of the Newsweek article,
South Park were right. That's bullshit. Right. Those Canadians and their weird heads, their weird like pop-up talking heads. If you've seen South Park, you know what we're talking about. I'm not your friend, guy.
Then there was one thing that actually confirmed RFK Jr.'s concerns, and then there was more bullshit. And
no, I actually think this article did a decent job of presenting both stances on this. And honestly, this is a dumb thing to take a stance on. Like, unless you work in food science, I don't think you have any business taking a stance on like food colorings and foods publicly. Like, if you don't believe eating certain, like, we have friends that are, so we have a couple that we're good friends with, probably our best friends in our local area. The husband is a pescatarian, so he'll eat fish only, but not other meat. And then outside of that, they're both vegetarians. And the only reason they do that is because they don't really like the meat packing industry, and there's a lot of ethical dilemmas with meat packing. Their reasons are their own. I don't think people are really up in arms about food coloring unless shit like this gets published. Unless a politician says something stupid and shit like this gets published. I think people are just eating what they want.
that's the end of the article. But that's Newsweek, okay? So a lot of places have covered this. And in particular, in this one, what people did is they did like an amalgamation of people.
Okay, so what's Twitchy though? I know what Newsweek is, but what's Twitchy? What's Town Hall TV? Like, what is this site that he's on? Twitchy.com? I've never heard of Twitchy.com. Does he know if this is a reputable publication? Did he read the byline? Who wrote this article? Hello?
Tweeting about it, although I don't know, I guess it's not tweeting.
I'm going to do some research in another tab about Twitchy.
This on X.com.
I'm concerned.
And some people are like,
I'm concerned about Twitchy, guys.
People are saying that RFK Jr. was in the wrong, but then others are like, wait, what? Well, we actually read the article, right? So New York Times is saying Robert Kennedy Jr. is wrong about Fruit Loops having too many artificial ingredients, but then goes on to explain that artificial colorings and preservatives are in the U.S. version instead of the Canadian, right? So there you go. I mean, other people have the same outcome of what I saw when I read the articles. And that, by the way, so they're citing a New York Times article.
Hey guys, I'm gonna show you something real quick. Ready? I just went to Twitchy for myself. Here, I'll show you. Tell me which way you guys think this website leans. Tell me which way this website leans. I'll wait. Can anyone tell me? Do you think this website has a bias? Holy shit, the ads on this site. Can anybody tell me? Who do you think this website supports? Yeah. This is a political shock website. This is a clickbait website. And he is citing this as a better source than the Newsweek article. Get the fuck out of here, man.
Like RFK Jr. was stupid.
To be clear, I am left leaning, and I don't like Rachel Maddow either. I think she causes way more harm than good with the way she reports stuff. I don't like most news.
To be honest, the Republicans, particularly those who like Donald Trump,
Jody Tate looks perfectly reputable to me.
They love hyperbole. okay? They love it. They love to over-exaggerate a lot. They feel that it gets their point across. You know, last week, Donald Trump said, oh, I got Roe v.
Bro, you're criticizing people who love hyperbole? The guy that said, if you ever watched a This Is How You Don't Play, you tried to murder me? You? Yes, you? All news is hyperbole. Where have you been? This just proves further to me that he doesn't read. He doesn't, like, this is the first time he's read since like 2006.
Wade repealed. No, you didn't. You did not do that. The Supreme Court did. Okay, you might have had a hand in it, but they're the ones who did it, but he takes credit for it, right? RFK Jr. says, oh, well, our Fruit Loops has like 27, 28 ingredients, and the Canadians have like 3. That's ridiculous. No, it's not true. It's completely false. That's the bullshit that people should be calling out. But just because he used hyperbole doesn't mean that the core argument he's making is false.
No, so King Jad, that is the theory that DSP can't, and I'm not saying he can't physically read, and I don't think that's what PewDiePie is saying either, but I truly believe that DSP has massive reading comprehension deficits. Like he can read words. Like we've seen him read words in these articles, but he literally doesn't know what they mean. Like he literally doesn't know what they mean in like a broader context, you know? Like he can read the words out to you, but then he'll be like, and then he'll tell you the opposite of what they actually mean. Practically, you know?
Understand? He exaggerates to get hype, to get bluster going, but his article, what he's talking about, actually has merit. He's saying, why are we using these chemicals?
Because there's a difference between reading and internalizing. And like to talk a little bit about me for a second, I grew up with learning disabilities, right? Like as a kid, it took me a while to get my reading comprehension up to like the level of my peers. I struggled with reading comprehension for a long time. It takes practice to understand what the words on the page, like he knows what the words say, he doesn't know what they mean. And I think that this is a huge, like his foray, quote unquote, into politics is a huge indicator of really the fact that he probably has learning disabilities. Like I have never been more on the DSP has autism and DSP has learning disabilities train than I have been right now with this whole Kino arc and this whole DSPolitics thing. He doesn't understand what anything means ever.
Color our foods when we could be using natural things that everyone eats that are actually not bad for you at all. Carrot juice, which is healthy. Why not turmeric? A spice that's very
so
common
Timothy
in
points out, and I know I said this last week or whatever. Trump campaigned on getting rid of Roe v. Wade, and a lot of people voted for him because of that. I know a lot of people, not a lot of people. I'm sounding like DSP. I can't use the term a lot of people because I talked to 3 people for whom this was the case. I talked to a few devout Catholics election week. Devout Catholics, good people that I know, friends of mine, but they said, I am as against any type of abortion as you possibly can be. I don't like the way Trump conducts himself, but getting rid of abortion is a very important issue to me. And he overturned Roe v. Wade the first time he was in office. So I am voting for him again. It doesn't matter. Like you can play semantics all you want, and Phil is playing semantics. You can play semantics, but like Trump thinks he overturned Roe v. Wade, and a lot of people that voted for him thinks he overturned Roe v. Wade. And DSP of all people should know that perception is reality, right? Especially in politics.
We use that instead of yellow 5, which shrinks your pee-pee. Okay, we already said it doesn't, all right? But you understand what I'm saying. I just use some hyperbole there, and that's the kind of thing that they do. But I said this last week. I feel like this is
once he finishes scrolling this article, we'll do our first call-in segment.
That then people kind of write him off and don't give him credit for the things that he says that are valid because he's exaggerating too much. I wish that he would kind of maybe check it a little bit. But the thing is, I actually feel that those who support Donald Trump like the hyperbole. They like the exaggeration.
Oh, thank you for the soundbite.
They find it energetic. They find it different from what other politicians do. And that's why they like the guy and keep voting for him. So it's just funny because here we go again. Donald Trump is not even in office yet. He hasn't been sworn in yet. And immediately we have all the mainstream leftist, very, very progressive media.
Yes, but you said literally days after the election, 2 days after the election, you said, guess what, motherfuckers? The pendulum has swung. And you said people were crying about Trump winning. You said it. You said it. And now you're criticizing people for calling shots before he's even sworn in, before Inauguration Day. You did it. You actually did it. Were you there? Hello?
coming out and doing articles to try to smear every single person involved with him.
Oh,
he
does.
Okay,
he super does, Arkamoon.
Logical with the way that they say
he
things,
sees a lot of himself in Trump.
RFK Jr. in this point actually has a point.
And to be honest, I think if Trump would bother to watch a DSP stream, and like he's never going to watch a DSP stream, let's be real, but I think if Trump was made aware of DSP, I think Trump would see a lot of himself in Phil. They are kindred spirits in a lot of ways if you think about it.
There are chemicals in the food that shouldn't be in there. We can have other things in there. There's no reason to. Why does the U.S. Food and Drug Administration allow all these chemicals in our foods when other countries don't and they have healthier alternatives, right? You tell me, and that's what I mean. So I don't get it. So anyway.
Okay. You can't host a political show, quote unquote, political show, and just throw your hands up. When you say, like, what does this mean? I don't know. Because his answer to everything so far today has been, what does this mean? I don't know. You can't talk about politics without taking a stand. The fence is so far up his ass, it's not even funny. Like, the fence is so far up his ass, but he's also wearing a MAGA hat at the same time. And I don't know how he squares that. I really don't.
Don't always believe everything you're reading in the media.
Yeah,
don't believe the hyperbole.
I did a mic bump.
A lot of it is a bunch of bullshit from the Republican Party, but at the same time, just because they use the hyperbole doesn't mean everything they say is wrong. The media will tell you that. It will say everything Trump says, everything RFK Jr. says, everything the cabinet says is wrong. That's not true. That's exactly the kind of hyperbole that the left likes to use to discredit their opponents, and they do it.
I don't know. Trump was convicted on multiple felony convictions. Like, I think people should research and question the things he says, whether you like him or not. I think if you like Trump, you should question the things he says. Because let's not forget, he was convicted on multiple felony convictions. Like, hello?
All the time. Be careful about that. You can't really trust the mainstream media because they're always spinning it in one of these angles. Okay. So that's our first story for the night. That was a nice quick intro story.
All right. We're going to go over to a call-in segment. So 2 ways to call in. You can call in via the phone-style phone. The number is 1-917-740-8933. And your number will be anonymous, by the way. I set that line to be anonymous numbers. But if you don't trust me and you want to further protect yourself, use *67 before you dial the number, and it will come through anonymous to me either way. Secondly, there is a Discord link in the description to the waiting room on the Detractor Beam Discord, and I can pull you in via Discord. So if anybody wants to go to the phones, we can go to the phones. Let's see if anybody's in here. Nobody in the waiting room? Okay. And anybody up on the phone? Nope, not yet. But if anybody wants to call in, go ahead and call in. I will take your calls.
All right.
If not, we'll just keep moving
on. We got our first tip, our second tip of the night. A $1.20 tip. So here's someone. RFK is a documented anti-vax conspiracy theorist.
I mean, he is.
Has been disproven by doctors and scientists. Okay, I'm not sure what that has to do with the topic of what we just talked about.
We've got someone on the phone here. Hello, caller. You are on the show. Who am I speaking with?
This is your show.
I'm sorry, who is that? You're breaking up a little bit.
I'm sorry, it's Len the Ranch. A huge fan of your show.
Oh, Len, you are the first caller. Thank you for calling in. What's on your mind, Len?
Oh, sweet. DSP politics is on my mind, and it's hurting. I always knew this dude was stupid. I guess I just always thought there may have been some sort of limit, something. But
yeah.
No.
You know what? I'm going to quote my left-handed friend, Lefty. He always told me, never underestimate how stupid DSP is, because he could always be stupider. And I think this is proof of it.
Yes, this politics I knew was going to be painful, but I didn't think he was going to find ways to maximize this painful stupidity, because, I can't even cover his politics stuff. It hurts. And he's got more of a smug little shit, and he never gives any of this leeway to anyone else. Anyone else gets freedom from hyperbole? Hell no. Never.
No, he'd call them a liar. He has called people a straight up liar. He accuses us trolls of hyperbole all the time. He's talking how Steve of the Dead made an 8-hour podcast about his cat. What's that?
No, I agree. It's too much contradictions coming at me too much at once. And it gets to the point where I can't even really address his main points. His foundations for arguments are so screwed up.
Yes. because he doesn't understand what he's seeing and reading. Like he thinks he does, but he's the type of guy similar to how Joe Rogan is. If you watch the Joe Rogan Experience, Joe Rogan kind of tends to agree with whoever he's talking to at the moment. And I think DSP is the same way, to be honest.
Absolutely. Whenever he talks to people, when he was talking to Ptolemaio, he agreed with everything Ptolemaio said, and then the next day went right back to his usual behaviors.
Yeah, and like Ptolemaio straight up said, I don't hate you, but I think you're dumb and I think you're funny. And he was like, yeah, I kind of agree with you, you know. And if it were anybody else, he would just, you know, call them a straight up troll and detractor. And I would argue that Craig was like way nicer to him in a lot of ways in Craig's interview than Tolo was, but he went off on Craig because that was the plan, you know?
Yes. Craig granted him with infinitely more mercy and patience than he ever deserved. And of course, he spit in his face for it.
Yes. Do you have any opinions on the Fruit Loops or are politics in general just grinding your gears right now?
Just in general, but I would say the Fruit Loops thing is really dumb for all the reasons you stated, that this dude is a hermit who door dashes food, so what does he really care? And this guy also said that Rich had a shitty life because he didn't have someone to cook for him. Which,
yeah, that's right.
If DSP politics were in full effect, we'd have mandatory wives, so you couldn't eat Fruit Loops.
Yeah, that's right. You'd have your state issued soulmate. They would just show up and they would say, "I'm your soulmate, sir. What would you like me to do?" And then that's it.
Yep, that's it. Fruit Loops are banned, and as is anything that gets you gout.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, thanks for coming on, Len. Before I let you go, do you have anything else on your mind, sir?
No, not really. Vacuum there. Thank you very much for having me.
All right, thanks for calling in. Be good, man. All right, that was Len the Deranged. First caller on the call-in show. There you go. Big ups hum along, by the way. If anybody else would like to call in or join the Discord nonsense, I'm going to go over to the Discord room, see if we got anybody waiting. We do have someone waiting in Discord, so I'm going to take a call from Iwamoto. Iwamoto, how are you, sir? You are on the Discord side of the troll phone. What's up, my man?
I'm doing good. Let me just turn off you here on the stream, otherwise it's going to interfere. Okay, so I wanted to call in about the whole thing with the Fruit Loops, because one thing that's really bothering me is DSP is kind of missing the point about moderation, and by which, you know, you already talked about, but I feel if this was really his stance, then, you know, shouldn't DSP/RFK go after, let's say, cigarettes, bacon, even butter? You could argue like, oh, you know, butter is so bad, and because if you eat 2 packs of butter a day, it's going to give you horrible cholesterol, this and that. No, that's all fine, but just this one very specific item, oh, that's terrible.
Correct.
It just figures that he is so like, I guess DSP is such a rube. You can
Yes, he is. A rube is a very good way to describe him, because he will. I think Steve of the Dead talked about this either yesterday. He talked about this on something in the last few days, where DSP splits. He literally splits, where one day he'll say something, he'll say, oh, you need to do this in moderation. And then someone else will bring up the exact same argument about something else the next day or the day after that. And he'll say, well, who cares? You know, and he's doing that now, very obviously.
Yes. I guess it also kind of reminded me, DSP seems like the kind of guy who will read the headline of a clickbait article that reads something like, oh, did you know that eating bananas can give you radiation poisoning? Because, yeah, I think if you eat like 10,000 bananas, you can get radiation poisoning. And DSP will say, oh, at a hypothetical party, because he never goes to parties, but
right.
He would then tell someone, oh, you shouldn't eat bananas because I read that, yeah, you can get some severe radiation poisoning from bananas.
True. I mean, if you stand near enough watch batteries, they can give you enough radiation. But like, there's shit computer components, man. There's shit we handle all the time that is slightly radioactive, and no one knows it. You know?
Yeah. So, or even flying.
Yeah, flying, getting an X-ray. Like you're literally being zapped with isotopic radiation when you're getting an X-ray. You know? And does he care about that? Probably not. You know? So.
Yes, indeed.
Well,
And then-
thanks. Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. Do you have
Just-
anything else on
just
your mind? Go ahead.
One last thing that's been irking me so hard, and it is when he was talking about getting his new computer, and people were saying, DSP, you can just build your own computer. He was saying, oh, it's going to take so long. And then he very specifically, as far as I remember, he said, it would take me like 10 weeks.
No.
And then I wouldn't be able to stream in the meantime, is basically what he meant. And I thought, no, because you already have a streaming PC. You actually have two, but you even have this one. But he made it sound like if I don't get this new PC, I won't be able to stream. And
yeah, it's really weird because he's acting like he couldn't build the new PC in a completely separate location of the house, have the old PC, which still works, still running. He acts like he would have to unplug the old PC, then build the new PC. I'm like, no, you don't.
Exactly.
Just build
exactly
it. Like the times, like I built a PC a couple, not this one, but the one before that. I built a PC a few years ago, and I was streaming at the time, and I was kind of like, what you do is you build your PC wherever you got a workspace. In my case, I built it in the kitchen for a day, but my old PC still worked. It was just a little hinky, you know? And then when I tested the new build and it posted and everything turned on, I switched them. It's very simple, which kind of indicates to me he's never built from scratch before, because even if you've done it once, you would know the logistics of that, you know?
Yes.
It's very simple.
Thank you for this platform.
Yeah, definitely. I'm hoping for this to be a fun place for people to come hang out and talk. But thanks for coming on, Iwamoto. I appreciate you. Any parting words for the stream?
Keep up the good work, I guess.
All right. Well, I appreciate you, and I appreciate you sending advice for setting up a NAS. I will.
Yes.
I will take that into advisement. But I'll talk to you later, man. Be well.
Yes. See you later. Bye-bye.
All right. Thank you, Iwamoto. And then let's see here. Oh, ALT is asking how I set up the phone number. I used a very simple, more obvious method than you think. I will DM you after the stream. But it was when it came to me the other day how to set up a phone number. It was super obvious, and it's like right in front of your face in a lot of ways. But I'll DM you. I don't want to give too much away because I don't. That could potentially have people. That could potentially have trolls search some stuff if I say the exact method. But I'll let you know. We have someone on the phone actually queued up. We're gonna go to the phone. Let's see here. Let's see. Yeah, the call was ringing. Hang on. Oh no, we don't. We don't have anybody on the phone. All right, well, unless we have anybody else for the first call-in segment, we're going to go ahead and move on. I'm trying to get the flow for this call-in stuff. I did a call-in show forever ago, like 20 years ago, when it was like when I was plugging my cell phone into a computer, so things were a lot different back then. But we're moving on. Thank you, Iwamoto and Len, for calling in. We'll move on to the next segment.
He's correct. What he said was actually correct. He just exaggerated, and then people gave him shit for it, but his point was right. It doesn't matter that you don't think that he was right on vaccines. He was actually right on that topic. It was proven. Even the people who don't like him said as much in their articles. You understand? This is what I don't like about America and the way that, again, either you're with me or against me. Either you completely agree or you completely disagree. No. You can
But you say that about you all the time. You say that if you watch one detractor video, if you show up in one detractor chat, you're dead to me. He has said that to people before. He said, I know you've been in detractor chats, therefore you're a troll. No, some people just hang out in detractor chats because, I don't know, sometimes DDM is fun to hang out in. Sometimes Raw Phil is fun to hang out in. And sometimes Bingo is fun to hang out in. It's not a big deal. They're all, you don't have to deal in absolutes for your entire life. It makes for a very boring, miserable life in my own experience.
You can call a fact a fact. You can call a fib a fib. In this case, that was a fact. There's a little bit of hyperbole and fibbing in there, but there's a fact behind it, and that's what counts. I just don't understand how then you just discredit anything the man ever says, right?
I'd also like to point out here. Let's see if we can pause on it.
All right, so
Shinko pointed this out the other was it the other day or last week? I don't know. Every day is blending together for me. I've been in transition with this new condo and stuff. But
right?
Point out about this liquid. The liquid is clear. So Shinko has a feeling that this liquid is not water. I'm just gonna put that out there. High probability that this liquid is not water.
Okay. All right, so let's continue.
It could be,
All right, by the way,
but
I'm
maybe
just
not.
curious. I didn't look yet. Holy shit, we have 700 and plus viewers tonight. Thank you guys for the viewers once again. I don't know why you guys are showing up, but I'm glad that you guys are enjoying the show. I really appreciate you being here for DS Politics Once a Week, episode 2. You know, it's gonna be a good one. And again, next week it's gonna be on Friday night. All right, let's keep it rolling. Let's get more viewers. Let's get the support going, everyone. As you
Let's
know,
get it
this is a normal
going.
stream for me. We want the streak to continue. Let's get some subs. I see many people in the chat who don't have subs, so let's get some of those. Let's get some gifted subs for the channel, and let's get some.
He's
tips in
doing
to
like
get them going.
PPP light,
Okay, ready?
which is very fun.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for our second topic of the night.
Yeah, 700 and plus. That's right, Banana Jones. 700 and plus.
So
Thank you for
our
the
next
membership.
topic involves a situation that has been going
Oh
on
my
for
God.
now over 1,000
He's gonna talk about Ukraine. All right,
Thank you for the membership.
hold on to your fucking butts, people. We're talking about Ukraine.
days. The war
Thank
in
you for the
Ukraine.
membership.
I apologize in advance for anybody that has family members or anyone else
you for the
that's
membership.
been impacted by the war. I apologize because I can tell DSP is going to be very dented
for
and
the
insensitive about this topic. I have family members, but distant family members who have been in the Ukraine since the war started, and depending on where you are, it ain't so good. So I guess my heart goes out to everybody affected by this war because it's real bad.
Now, I'm not here to talk about the war particularly.
Big ups, Len.
You know, ins and outs. And do you like Zelensky? Do you hate Zelensky? Do you trust the guy? Do you think he's a sham, scam artist, charlatan? Everyone seems to have a different opinion on this subject. And for me to jump in this late in the game would be kind of weird. You know, I'm sure.
Why would he use the word charlatan to describe Vladimir Zelensky? Okay.
Everyone's formulated their opinions at this point, correct? But there's been some major developments regarding the Ukraine in the last week. Particularly, things seem to be advancing so fast right now at an accelerated rate that, no exaggeration, as I was pulling an article to talk about on the show, another thing happened, and therefore I just got the second article instead because this one kind of summarized both together. And then as I was adding this and getting the show ready, something else happened regards this situation. I was like, dude,
breaking
isn't it
news.
weird? I gotta say this. Donald Trump has won both the popular vote and he won the Electoral College. Big sweeping win, even though everyone claimed it was going to be close, it really wasn't. All right? The American people have spoken. They want to change. So why does it seem like now, all of a sudden, with Biden on his way out, with Kamala on her way out, that all of a sudden now there's an accelerated pace of stuff going on with stuff like Ukraine? Is that a little weird? It's like, well, I'm on the way out, and I know that my time is done. We've screwed up. We're destroyed in this.
So what are you saying? Is he putting on its tinfoil hat and being conspiratorial? Like what? Like say it. Say what you're saying. Like I know what you think you mean, but say what you mean. I hate how he's tiptoeing around the point. He wants to try and say that like the Dems are being accelerationist in all their shit because they're on their way out. They've only got a couple of months, that their days are numbered. That's what he wants to say, but he won't say it because he's a coward.
Election. Now it's time for us to try to crunch a whole bunch of crap out right away before we're on the way out, and then we can't do
Oh
anything. 'cause we have
no,
power. 'Cause
I stand corrected. He did say it. It's still dented, but he said it. Okay, credit where credit is due, I guess.
only did they lose the presidency, they lost the House of Representatives, and they lost the Senate. They lost it all. They're going to have no power for the next 4 years. I think they're really, really upset about this and scared. So they are literally trying to do as much as possible in the short few months that they have until Donald Trump is sworn in. So here's what's happened. It's so crazy. All this stuff that's happened.
Big ups,
in the last
Roach
week
Bait.
with
That
Ukraine.
is
Okay, I say the Ukraine.
that is a very that's a very succinct way to describe Phil's position. Roach Bait says, "Shut in political opinion from a non-voter." Yes, and like people have their own reasons for not voting. But and I've said it before on other streams, and I'll say it again. I don't trust someone who'll talk about politics on the internet like voting. Well, no, he actually says voting doesn't matter, which is completely antithetical to talking about politics. If you're talking about politics on the internet, voting does matter. But also the fact that you don't read, can't read, and don't vote really matters. Because you have no opinion. Like, I don't want to hear political takes or political prescriptions from someone who has no opinion. Like, it's simple. But yet I'm watching this. I'm watching this so that you have something to filter through.
Okay, with Ukraine. I call it the Ukraine because I feel like it. All right, I think it sounds good. Rolls off the tongue. The Ukraine instead of just Ukraine. But I guess it's offensive to say the Ukraine, so too bad. Okay, so first off, the first thing that happened is that President Biden just gave permission for Ukraine to start using these missiles. Now, I don't know how long they had them. I don't know if Biden said you can't use them yet. I don't get it. But just a few days ago, it was literally a few days ago, he said, hey, we're going to shift our American policy. You can use these missiles now against Russia. And so Ukraine said, well, thanks for the offer, but we're going to pass. No, they didn't say that. They said, sure, thanks, stupid. Let's use them. And
is that actually what they said?
Into Russia. So.
Are you okay? So he's going to read part of the article. Okay. So again, think about what I said about the Fruit Loops article. Let's think about him reading let's keep track of what he reads and what he understands, because there's a big difference between the words he reads and understanding what they mean.
Ukraine's military used American-made ballistic missiles on Tuesday to strike into Russia for the first time. President Biden had just given permission to do so. The pre-dawn attack struck an ammunition depot in the Bryansk region of the southwestern Russia, Ukrainian officials said. Russia's Ministry of Defense says that Kyiv used 6 ballistic missiles. Is that Kyiv? That's how you pronounce it?
Kiev.
Known as ATACMs for Army Tactical Missile System. A senior American official and senior Ukrainian official who spoke in the condition of anonymity to discuss ongoing operations confirmed that ATACMs were used. The strike represented a demonstration of force for Ukraine as it tries to show Western allies that providing more powerful and sophisticated weapons will pay off by degrading Russia's combat capabilities and relieving pressure on Kyiv's overstretched forces. The attack came on the same day President...
Okay, yeah, sure. That makes sense. A show of force from a political perspective is good for the Ukraine. They want the world and their allies to understand that if you give them support in the form of money or weapons, they'll be put to good use. Reasonable.
Vladimir Putin lowered Russia's threshold for use of nuclear weapons, a long-planned move whose timing appeared aimed at showing the Kremlin good responsibility aggressively to Ukraine using American missiles to strike the Russian territory. The Kremlin has throughout the war used the threat of deploying its nuclear arsenal to try to deter the West from providing more robust military support to Ukraine.
But also, like, the U.S. is allied with Ukraine, so why is it a surprise that they're, like, the U.S. has been giving military support to Ukraine for a while now. I don't know how this is a surprise. I think I'll agree that the timing of it is a little hinky, but I don't know. I don't think this means much.
On Tuesday,
maybe I'm an idiot. Maybe I'm uninformed.
Called Ukraine's use of the ATACMs in the Bryansk region a signal that they want escalation, a reference to the U.S. and Western allies. Ukrainian officials and military analysts who have long cautioned no single weapon will change the course of the war note the impact of the shift in White House policy will depend on the quantities of missiles being supplied. But the one thing I want to say is this paragraph right here.
Okay, what that says, and let's see what he says. They actually do fear a different model. I'm calling it model, but that's not the word for it. A different tactic will be used in reference to the Ukraine war once Trump takes office and becomes commander-in-chief. That's the concern that's being raised in this article, which is a reasonable concern, especially given tension between Putin and Trump in the past. So let's see what he says.
The very last paragraph. The authorization came just 2 months before the return to office of President-elect Donald J. Trump, which said he will seek a quick end to the war in Ukraine.
Yeah, the quick end to the war in Ukraine. That's pretty ominous. I think a quick end to the war in Ukraine could mean many bad things. And I think that's what the current administration is concerned about. And I think that's what current Ukrainian officials are concerned about. Trump saying quick end could mean many, many things.
If you're not aware, Donald Trump says he's had enough. Why is this war going on for 3 years? Why does the U.S. keep interjecting their nose into the business of Ukraine and Russia? He doesn't get it. I guess, in his opinion, we shouldn't be involved. And I think a lot of Americans are actually...
No, it's because we're allied with the Ukraine, not Russia. It's very simple. It's very simple. It's not hard. If Russia and the Ukraine are beefing it, the U.S. supports Russia. Excuse me, I spoke backwards. The U.S. supports Ukraine. It's not hard.
In the same exact belief system. They're like, why are we involved in a war with these other countries? Now, listen, we don't have good terms with Russia. We know that. Russia is
yes. So Sonny in the chat raises a good point. Trump's stance on NATO is that the U.S. would support NATO nations if they pay us or pay us more. Yeah, exactly. So Trump's stance on certain pacts, like say NATO and other allied war pacts, is that the more you pay us, the more support you'll get militarily. So that's why there's a lot of fear associated with him saying once I take office, there will be a quick end to the war in Ukraine, because That's a very vague statement. That's hard to know what it means. So you can understand why people are concerned.
Not in agreement with our democratic ways, okay? But why do we have to get involved in this war? So that's what's going on. Now, something else happened immediately following this, okay? You ready for this? Biden administration
Reuters. He's gone to Reuters, ladies and gentlemen.
$4.7 billion of loans to the Ukraine. Now, this, folks, is where I start to get angry.
Okay.
So let's go ahead and read. This was from yesterday, by the way. This is a fresh article, just happened. The Biden administration has moved to forgive about $4.7 billion in U.S. loans to Ukraine, the State Department spokesperson Matthew Miller said on Wednesday, as outgoing officials seek to do what they can before leaving office to bolster Ukraine in its war with Russia.
Of course.
So basically, in order to help Ukraine, you guys don't ever have to pay us back the money that we all agreed you would pay us back. A funding bill passed by the U.S.
All right, so he's going to criticize the idea of debt forgiveness by the U.S. to Ukraine, while also having his debt wiped clean via bankruptcy. And he's working on bankruptcy number 2, by the way, is the widely held theory. Keep that in mind.
Congress in April included over $9.4 billion of forgivable loans for economic and budgetary support to Ukraine's government, half of which the president would cancel after November 15th. The bill appropriated a total of $61 billion to help Ukraine fight the full-scale invasion of Moscow, launched in February 2022. Ladies and gentlemen, $61 billion of Americans' money was gifted to Ukraine. Ukraine doesn't have to pay any.
No. There's a difference between a gift and forgiveness. Debt, was your bankruptcy a gift? Did the U.S. government gift you $100 grand? By his logic, then, the state of Washington and the IRS gifted him $100,000, right? Correct? Because that's what he just said. He just called debt forgiveness a gift. That's not what it means. And if he were on the other end of this, he would play the semantics game. I'm pretty sure he has played the semantics game with his own bankruptcy. He would say it was forgiveness, not a gift. So he, frankly, he of all people has no room to talk on this subject. If you want to talk about debt forgiveness between nations, DSP is not the one to do it.
Of it back whatsoever. Let's continue. By the way, Whoa Baby just gifted 5 subs.
Whoa Baby.
Thank you so much.
Let's get them going.
Let's get that up on the leaderboard. You're now the top sub gifter of the day. Up to 36 bucks of support so far on DS Politics.
36 bucks.
Okay, let's continue with the article. We've taken the step that was outlined in the law to cancel these loans, Miller told the press briefing, adding that the step was taken in recent days. Congress could still block the move, Miller said. The Senate is due to vote later on Wednesday on a motion of disapproval of loan forgiveness for Ukraine put forward by Republican Senator Rand Paul, a frequent critic of U.S.
Rand Paul.
The majority of senators from
that
both parties support aid to
He's
Ukraine.
funny.
President Joe Biden has ordered officials to rush as much aid to Ukraine as possible before he leaves office on January 20th, amid concerns President-elect Donald Trump could limit the U.S. support. And that's the story.
And like, historically, presidents, when they are leaving office, like when they know their party's on the way out, they do cram shit in. Trump did the same thing. Trump did the exact same thing. Not in the same way. He wasn't, forgiving, debt to other nations. But Trump was giving out the pardons. Trump was giving out pardons left and right when he knew he was going out. And there was a lot of talk that a lot of those pardons that the Trump administration were issuing were not justified. So I think the same could be said for just about any other presidential administration. I would say that's politics, baby. Like, some of what he's talking about comes down to the notion of that's politics, baby. Like, yeah, is it shitty? Is it shitty that they're trying to cram stuff in, as they're leaving? Yeah, it is. But they're frankly well within their right to do so. Almost every administration has done things like that.
Ladies and gentlemen, I have a couple things to say about this. All right. But notably, the one thing that I would like to say as we start my commentary on this story. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, when was the United States populace? You, if you're American watching this right now, everyone who lives here in the United States, when were we asked, would you like to send all of your tax money to Ukraine?
We're gonna talk about populism now. All right. Okay. I don't know why I signed up for this. We're going to talk about populism now? Okay.
When was that poll? When was that census taken? I'm curious. I was wondering, when I was going to be asked, why my money or how my money.
It's not up to you. The point is the sitting president appoints officials to delegate those decisions to. And the Biden administration is making that decision, just like the Trump administration will make decisions that benefit them and the things that they believe in. This is the other side of the pendulum swinging, Philip. Before the pendulum swings to the right, as you say, it has to finish swinging to the left. The pendulum is still swinging to the left until Trump is sworn in, by your own logic. The pendulum has not swung yet. It is mid-swing, we'll say. It's swinging from left to right, but it hasn't quite gotten there yet. Therefore, shit like this can still happen. It goes both ways, man.
Can be used and to give it to other countries. Because here's the thing. All right, I just want to understand something here. I work hard. I earn money. I take the money that I earn and I give.
On it, so Arca Moon says, since when did the government take a general vote for anything? Never. The only general election we have is our three branches of government, our three main branches of government. You know, your House and your Senate representation and your president. Those are the only things spoken for in a general election, as they should be, because in theory, you are voting for House representation and senators that represent the American values. Thus, the sitting president, if they represent the American values, are appointing people to departments of state, what have you, that will forward their own agenda. And that's what this is. Discretionary debt forgiveness towards another nation is an executive decision that is done based on who the sitting administration appoints, and he doesn't understand that.
A portion of it to the federal government, and the understanding is the government's going to use that money to govern. They're going to do things as public servants. We've explained this, and I explained it last week. The United States government is public service, meaning the government only exists to service the people of the country, period. Everything the government is going to do is supposed to be in the best interests of the United States populace, okay? Now, if Biden and Kamala Harris and the Democrats had come out and...
Could it be that some people believe that what's best for the United States is to keep the Ukraine a separate nation from Russia? Could that be the most advantageous position to take? Could it be, Phil? He's not even thinking of this in terms of geopolitics. He's only looking at the money. Like, he really doesn't understand that, like, geopolitically, the war itself in terms of territories is so much more significant than the money it costs. He's so myopic, man.
Said, we're going to convince you. This is why helping the Ukraine is going to help our country in a big way in this war. And they actually gave a convincing argument and said, here it is. Okay? Maybe I wouldn't have an issue with 4.7 billion loans being forgiven and overall 61 billion being given. And by the way, that's just that one bill. There have been other things.
Yeah, but the first article that he cited did give the reason, is that there is a certain degree of fear that the Trump administration would take a different tack. And the fear is kind of confirmed when the first article he cited said Trump has had enough. He wants the war to be over quickly. That's a pretty compelling fucking argument to me, if you think about it.
To be given to Ukraine as well. I mean, how do you think they're getting these missiles on the story before? Correct? This is how this is all happening. All right. So I would love to hear the argument. I would love to be convinced. But here's the problem. It didn't happen. Okay. What happened was Americans 4 years ago said, man, we just really don't like Donald Trump. We're afraid of Donald Trump being president again. So we're going to vote in literally anyone else who can win. Biden's an old crotchety man. He can barely walk or see. But you know what? We need someone else than Trump. We don't trust him right now. So we told Trump's the boogeyman. We're told that Trump is evil. We need to vote in this Biden guy. Let's do it. So they did.
Yeah, but this time around, the opposite is happening. This time around, people have said the Democrats have ruined the economy. We don't like Kamala Harris. This, that, and the third. And now they've voted against Kamala Harris and for Trump, which is completely valid, by the way. But he's acting like the opposite is not happening now. Like, what is he talking about?
They didn't vote in Biden and said, hey, now Biden, you have the ability to do whatever you want with our taxpayer dollars. That's not what happened. Literally, people voted because they didn't like Trump. That's the only reason they voted that way. That's what they were told to do.
He's such a child.
Mindwashed by the mainstream media. Trump's evil. Trump's the devil.
He's
Trump's
such a
gonna be like
child.
Hitler. Trump's going to be this big dictator, this big fascist guy. If you get him in again, therefore vote for anyone else. So they voted for Biden. And then what's happened is in the last 4 years, the government took all of our taxes and sent it overseas.
No.
What the fuck's going on? Meanwhile, we've got
No, that's not what. Not all of your taxes. Does he? He's professing to understand the U.S. budget, and he doesn't understand the U.S. budget. Military spending is a whole topic that you cannot begin to understand, Phil. Don't talk about it.
record high inflation, insane prices, people can't find meaningful jobs, our healthcare is going down the toilet,
Meaningful
crime is out of
jobs,
control,
by the
and
way.
borders are wide open with people spilling through on a daily basis. Not good people, a lot of people who are causing problems for the good people of this country. That's what's happened in the last 4 years. Well, all people were told was you definitely.
Okay, so Phil just laid out his political. Phil just laid out his entire political platform. I want you guys to listen to this. He goes to 3 points that I'm convinced is like actually his political platform. You ready?
Find meaningful jobs. Our healthcare is going down the toilet. Crime is out of control, and borders are wide.
Jobs, healthcare, crime stats, borders. That is his politics. He just said it. He just said it. He said it like kinda without saying it, but I believe that those are his politics, which if it is, that's fine. But I would rather him just flat out say, these are my beliefs. And he never does. Like, you get little glimpses of it like we did just there, but he never comes out and says, I stand for this. It's very frustrating.
Open with people spilling through on a daily basis. Not good people, a lot of people who are causing problems for the good people of this country. That's what's happened in the last 4 years. Well, all people were told was you definitely can't have Trump reelected, right? So where did our tax money go?
It's not about tax money, though. Like, he's being so reductive about this entire thing. He really is. It's not actually about tax money. Like, military spending has very little to do with tax money, to be honest. Because I don't know if all of you know, but the U.S. military spends at a deficit. We go into debt to fund our military. So, like, to think of it as a tax proposition is very childish.
Exactly. To Ukraine. All the funds they're giving it away. And now they want to escalate. They want to rush. They want to spend more of our money because they realize when Trump gets in, it ain't going to happen anymore. Trump's going to say, are you out of your mind? Fucking cut this off right now. We're not going to keep sending American money over there. What the fuck did they do to earn it? What are they doing in any way?
Yes, but the concern is that loss of U.S. financial and logistical support would strengthen Russia. And strengthening Russia is not good for the U.S. It's just not. Like, objectively, Russia being strengthened is not good for the U.S. It's not.
Way, shape, or form, that means that we need to now pay for their country's existence. It's ridiculous. Okay, now listen, I don't want Russia to take the world over, right? The big fear is that if you don't do something to stop Russia and leave their power unchecked, we're going to have another World War II.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely.
Have another Hitler that takes over the world because people were so pussy.
Well, I don't think it would be World War III proportions, but Putin definitely is trying to have Russia grab power. Obviously, this is a power grab. And like, isn't it in the best interest of other global superpowers to stop some unhinged man from Russia from taking more power? Like, it just makes sense, right?
Put it back then. They didn't want to intervene. I don't know about that. And next thing you know, you got the Third Reich and you got the Axis powers and everything's fucked up, right? I get it. I totally get that, all right? I don't understand how us giving so many billion upon billions of dollars to the Ukraine has done that. How did that stop Putin exactly?
We provided support in weapons and logistical support that has helped Ukraine immensely. That's been proven out.
Do we have any evidence that all the money we've given Ukraine has helped one bit? And now it's the end of the time. What we're doing now is ineffective. If in 3 years, the Ukraine couldn't beat Russia and stop them from invading, what makes you think that a last-ditch effort of throwing more money and missiles at them is going to stop them now? It doesn't make any sense because no matter what happens, in 2 months, it all flips anyway because Trump's going to come.
It doesn't all flip, though. It's not like Trump is going to dismantle, as much as Trump may want to, it's not like Trump can just dismantle every single policy in place. Like, that's not going to happen. Like, he thinks Trump is going to like flip a switch and everything is going to lean right now. The government is a big, slow, sort of lumbering institution. You can't flip a switch overnight and have the entire government be for Trump. Because as Phil points out, like, most government workers are public servants with a job to do. You can't just wake up on a Monday and say, all right, we're doing this now, and have everybody get on board immediately. There's a transition period. Like, it's not going to be what he thinks.
To power and say, we're ending this now. So this is a desperate, pathetic, weak, very closed-minded, and dangerous attempt of the Democrats on their way out to do a last desperate gasp of attention, gasp of power, and it means nothing. You know what they say? Full of sound and fury, signifying nothing. That's exactly what this is. All this is one last fart on the way out to blow the last remaining bit of tax money from Americans that worked hard and earned that.
No, it's not about the tax money. Forgiving debt is not taking money from Americans. It's not like, oh my God.
Money and just blowing it out the ass towards Ukraine, and it's going to do absolutely nothing.
He is insane. He is insane. He doesn't understand.
This is a
by his logic, his bankruptcy took money from Americans, at least Washington state residents. Correct. Over $100 grand was forgiven in his bankruptcy. Where did that money come from? Someone had to pay the institutions he owed money to. Who did? Answer, Washington state taxpayer. Actually, factually, the Washington state taxpayer paid a lot of that shit off. Actually.
Fucking waste of our time and money. We, as the American people, we need to start holding our politicians accountable for their actions. We do. In this election, it should have been who is going to do the best for the country. Not, oh, I'm afraid of a dictator, I'm afraid of this, I'm afraid of that. No. If you take a look at the track record, in the last 4 years, the Democrats have squandered the shit out of our tax money. We earned it all, we gave it to them, and they just blew it away.
If this doesn't confirm his political leanings, like if you were ever uncertain of DSP's political leanings, you are now. You absolutely are. He fucking hates the Dems. And to be clear, I don't like Democrats either, but I am on the left. I'm one of those weird left-leaning people who doesn't like the Democrats because they're not left enough for me. But we're not here to talk about my politics. We're here to talk about his.
Hey, meanwhile, all these problems around us are getting worse that could have gotten better if they actually appropriated the tax money properly.
Yes. So Timothy says you hold them accountable by voting. Exactly. That's a really good point. The Democrats, in a lot of ways, are being held accountable by losing the office because they ran a shitty race. They ran an incredibly bad presidential race, and they're paying for it. So in a way, that is accountability. And 4 years ago, you could look at the Democrats taking executive office again as Trump being held accountable in many ways.
Because of shit like this. You understand? So this is stupid, disgusting, embarrassing. I mean, honestly, if you want my opinion, and this could be
we need to go faster.
Blown apart, I'm sure people will criticize.
He's looping.
I'd be like, when the election ends,
we need to go faster. We're going to 2 times
very
speed.
Fucking rapid. Now, oh, so one side lost, but now they have 3 months to fuck everything up around the world. No, it should be you lost, get your ass out, and they get a big rubber boot, and they put it on a big peg of wood, and it swings and it just kicks you on the ass.
I don't
and you
care.
Fly out the fucking door because you lost.
I don't.
And then the new people come in
Stupid
and they start
joke.
actually running the country better.
I don't care.
Now, oh, we have to wait 2-3 fucking months for this to transition, and meanwhile, blow more money, shoot missiles over at fucking Russia, piss them off. Let's just fuck up the world. Why not? Hey, why not? Hey, I got an idea. Why doesn't Biden, all right, start making giant blimps of Winnie the Pooh with the leader of North Korea at the face?
This is so fucking stupid.
Let's go down our streets. Why not? Why not piss them off, right?
So
we have the last chance, our last chance to do
stupid.
something before we leave. Let's just...
This is getting skipped.
I think you see the point I'm making. American, I swear that happened, right? That he can do. I don't out of memory because they're all reliant very heavily on advertisements, and the advertisements literally overload the effing page.
Oh wait, what's he saying?
It's so hard to have political websites load. Seriously, like they won't load. You try to load them, and then they error out and glitch. They say, "Oh, your browser's out of memory," because
no, it's because you're using Chrome and you've got like 95 tabs open. It's a memory issue. You're using Chrome on your desktop and you've got 95 tabs open and you're not running ad block. That's on you.
They're all reliant very heavily on advertisements, and the advertisements literally overload the effing page. It is so annoying. I'm looking at, I can't like have these, and before you say ad blocker, because I understand you can't use ad blocker on these sites. If you
Yeah, you can. Yeah, you absolutely can. You're using the wrong ad blocker, Phil.
They say we detected an ad blocker, and if you use it, you can't use the site. We won't load the article. So it's a major pain in the ass. Like I have a bunch of tabs open for the rest of the show, and half of them are endlessly loading for no reason. They have giant pop-up ads for stuff.
You don't have to keep the tabs open. You can close them. You can make a folder of bookmarks and then just click to open the bookmarks in the folder. It's what I do.
Pizza and dresses and all kinds of dumb shit on the screen, and I can't. It's just dumb. It's really stupid. It's annoying. So that's why I accidentally closed that tab. But luckily I didn't need it, and I got to open again in order for the next article here. Okay. Okay. I have some shout outs to do. It looks like Slayer is attempting to tip me. Slayer, your tips are being frozen.
All right, I'm going to open up another call-in segment. If anybody would like to call in either via the phone or Discord, I will be taking calls. Phone number again is 1-917-740-8933. It is anonymous. Your phone number will not be seen by anyone, but if you wish to ensure that for yourself, use *67 as you dial. Also, there is a Discord link along with the number in the description. So if anybody would like to call in, either via Discord or the phone, feel free to go do so. We will push on until or unless callers appear.
By PayPal, since 2 of them got frozen in a row, it absolutely means you're using a terminology that PayPal does not like. That is what's going on here. Because usually the tip would have gone through by now, but the fact, Slayer, that you tried to tip me twice and both got blocked, whatever your wording you're using, it doesn't like it. And since we're doing a political show, I'm going to assume you're tipping saying something political, and PayPal actually doesn't like the political stuff you're saying. Okay.
That stupid laugh.
Slayer, I think he tried to say this in his tip. He says, for your info, the conflict with Ukraine and Russia, China's a close ally with Russia and North Korea, well aware that everyone's like, they're the next axis. Seriously, that's what everyone says. They were sending weapons, and even recently North Korean soldiers were sent to fight the front lines against Ukraine.
Yeah. That's the argument. If one of those nations is strengthened, it's bad. That donation literally like debunked his entire argument. That's the entire thing. If even one of those 3 nations is further strengthened, it's bad.
Many countries are hesitant to directly support Ukraine to avoid a war.
Like net negative.
I know all about it. I really do. Okay. Now, I received a $10 tip.
I have received.
He says, this person says, your tax money is being used to stop the spread and prevent, to stop the spread. Spread of what? And prevent World War III. It's going to a good cause, I believe. You think that giving the Ukraine missiles in the 11th hour, 2 months before you know Donald Trump is going to pull all support, and having them shoot those missiles to piss off Russia now at the last minute, you think that's going to prevent World War III? By literally giving the support to the people who are going to shoot missiles and piss off these people, that's going to stop World War III.
No,
you actually believe?
I'm skipping until he pulls up an article. I can't deal with these donation segments. I can't. Factually can't. All right, new article, new topic. Let's go. And as I said, if anybody does want to call in, link and numbers are in the description. But we're going to move on.
A few days here. A Minnesota dad who ranted against President-elect Donald Trump online shot and killed his wife, ex-partner, and his 2 sons before then turning the gun on himself, according to authorities. The shooter, 46-year-old Anthony Nephew, had a pattern of mental health issues. The Duluth Police Chief Mike Sanoa said on Friday, one day after authorities found 5 people dead inside 2 homes in the city.
Oh, no. Are we going to talk about gun control? I think we're going to talk about gun control. Shit.
He murdered one family, went to the next house, and murdered the other. Authorities found Anthony Nephew's ex-partner, Aaron Abramson, 47, and their son, Jacob Nephew, 15, dead from apparent gunshot wounds inside their home Thursday afternoon, police said. After identifying Anthony... can I read the article? After identifying Anthony Nephew as a suspect, police found a 45-year-old wife, Catherine Nephew, and their 7-year-old son, Oliver Nephew, dead from gunshot wounds inside a family home close by. Anthony Nephew was found dead inside the home from a self-inflicted gunshot wound. Before his rampage, Anthony Nephew had been sharing left-wing and anti-Trump posts on his Facebook account. My mental health in the world can...
Okay. I feel compelled to point out that this is from the New York Post. And the New York Post is one of the most irreputable online publications in existence. So take it with a massive grain of salt. And if you notice, a lot of the articles that DSP cites are incredibly biased. The New York Post is a fucking rag who doesn't check facts. They just publish things. I could have a whole conversation about New York Post, but I'm not going to. But take anything you see from NYP with a massive grain of salt. And again, this is another level of DSP's illiteracy. He doesn't think critically about, like, where is this coming from? Why are they publishing? And now this tragic shooting becomes about extreme left-wing views and anti-Trump sentiment. His leanings are very clear.
No longer peacefully coexist. And a lot of the reason is religion, Anthony Nephew wrote in July. I'm terrified of religious zealots inflicting their misguided beliefs on me and my family. I have intrusive thoughts of being burned at the stake as a witch or crucified on a burning cross. Do you think perhaps this kind of person, when they are hearing that the devil is being elected president, that maybe they might react in a bad way? Do you think maybe, perhaps, for some point, the people saying awful things should have accountability, taken?
Oh, okay. This is not how I thought this was going to go, but I think this is going to be Trump is just like me for segment. Let's see if I'm right. And those of you who may have watched this already, I guess you can spoil it. But it does feel like we're approaching a Donald Trump is just like me for segment, because he has trolls, and mentally ill trolls will drive themselves to end game, etc., etc.
That people then lose their minds and act horrible ways based on what they said. I mean, people actually believe that I or my child are Satan or the Antichrist or whatever their favorite color of boogeyman they are afraid are this week. Another post, he accused Republicans of making it harder for women to leave abusive relationships. Gilead, here we come, he wrote, referencing The Handmaid's Tale. Yeah, this has been one. Ever since, basically, Trump won the election, The Handmaid's Tale has become this viral thing for the left, you know, the left-leaning people, that the whole country is going to become the
Handmaid's Tale has been used as a cautionary tale of, you know, by the left for why you shouldn't vote for the right well before Trump. Because the story existed before the show we know. But so what I'll say is it's not what he's saying is not entirely unfounded here, but it's, as always, it's more nuanced than you think.
Still, I heard women are buying Handmaid's Tale cosplay and wearing it out in the streets in protest that this has happened. It's like they can't handle reality. They actually want to believe. Now, the thing is, here's the thing. If you're so anti-Trump and you're so afraid, correct? Right? Why are you then dressing up in a dystopian way? You know what I'm saying? Like, this is just weird. It's
Wait,
bizarre.
hold on. Why is DSP getting ads for this? Look at that. Why is he getting ads for, like, leather dommy unmentionables? What is this? The ad data's got to come from somewhere, DSP. What are you doing? What are you searching? Okay, I'm sorry. I got distracted. But the ad data's got to come from somewhere. Who do they think you are? Oh, that's for Kat. ALT, I don't know if you're still here, but I don't know if they make bedroom outfits like that big enough for Kat in her current state.
To me, I don't understand how that's doing anything. So anyway, continuing on. Anthony Nephew shared other political posts, including an image of former President Barack Obama, Trump, President Biden, and Vice President Kamala Harris. The word hate sits under Trump's face, while the words hope, heal, and grow correspond with the Democratic politicians. Not that anyone cares, but as an independent voter, I would really like to see both the political parties.
I'd also like to remind people that DSP himself had the Obama face, like the Obama multicolored change logo picture with his face on it, and it also said hate, by the way, because he was king of hate. And now he's like criticizing these people who thought that was a problem. So keep that in mind. It looks very stupid, or it seems very stupid when you look at it in those terms, but he's criticizing people for thinking that Donald Trump's face being morphed with Obama's like hope campaign saying hate is a problem when he did the exact thing. Think about it.
Better candidates, he wrote in July. You know what? I agree with that. What did I say? I said 100%. I didn't like Kamala Harris or Donald Trump, or for that reason, Joe Biden when he was running for our presidential candidates, and that we need a better system, that we have better choices, not we're just saying, well, here's who you're voting for. Wait, what? What say did I have? Did I get to vote? No, these are your choices. That's our...
No, you didn't vote. It's not about not getting to vote. You didn't. You literally didn't vote. So don't blame the government for you not voting. Don't. There are a million ways to vote. You can do mail-in ballot in most states, even if you don't physically require a mail-in ballot, you can vote early. I voted a week early. It was awesome. It was very easy. But don't blame the government for why you didn't vote, Phil. You just didn't want to vote.
Two-party system. Too bad if you don't like it. Huh? Is that democracy then? I'm a little lost. How is that true democracy? I don't understand it. So, yeah, I agree. Both the candidates sucked ass, and therefore, no matter who won, we kind of lost anyway. That's kind of my take. Like, listen, I feel that under this Republican 4 years that we're going to have in the United States.
Oh, Banana Jones. I like your style. Banana Jones says he hates Kamala for being a woman, and he hates Trump for forgetting to pay his Sikorsky money. Maybe if Trump paid his fucking bill at Sikorsky, they wouldn't have had to fire DSP. Think about it. Thank you for the membership. Thank you for the membership, Clip Curator. Thank you for becoming an El Cheapo supporter. I appreciate you.
States, perhaps some things particularly will get better for me and my family that we've been waiting on. Having interest rates go down. Therefore, possibly I can refinance my home. Having prices go down. Things like that. Perhaps taxes will get a little better, right? I don't know. But
Trump will save him, guys.
That some of that will improve under the Republican control. Okay? Generally, I believe that. I could be wrong, but that's generally what I believe. I don't think having Trump as our president is going to help. I just don't believe that. I'm not one of these people who's like so pro-Trump and I love Trump and I love his mean tweets and I love all this shit. I literally don't. I think that he's kind of out of control when it comes to being completely...
You do like his policies. You do like his policies. And you just said, I might be able to refinance my home because of this. So you may not like him as a person, but you do like his policies.
Mature, his hyperbole, his, I think it's bad for the country, quite frankly. I told you guys, I'm no fan of Donald Trump. I'm just not, okay?
I'm also not gonna lie, as someone who just moved into a condo that we will have to pay property taxes on at the end of next year, I'm actually relieved in a way that Trump is going to be in office for our first year of taxes in this house, because there's at least a chance that property taxes will be a little lower. Because after we bought the house, after we closed on the house and like started moving in, we looked up the estimated property taxes due for the house, and we were like, oh God, I hope Trump being in office actually gooses that just a little bit, because property taxes are a lot.
All right, continuing on. We can do better than a binary choice between fascism and not fascism.
That's wait, fascism?
Donald Trump. I'm just not, okay? All right, continuing on. We can do better than a binary choice between fascism and not fascism.
Steve of the Dead, if you're out there, add that to the board. Fascism. 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 It's great.
That's also not what it was. Why does everyone believe that Donald Trump is a fascist?
He keeps saying it. He keeps saying it.
When did that happen? He was the president for 4 years.
I don't know. Donald Trump was really big into riot control. Donald Trump was the guy that said, if the shooting starts, the looting starts. That sounds pretty fashy to me. That sounds pretty fashy to me. And I know some people like that. Some people like hard policing, riot control, etc., etc. I'm not knocking it, but factually, Trump said if the shooting starts, the looting starts. If the looting starts, the shooting starts. I'm tripping over my words today. So like you can't deny that. Like Trump says some very fashy things, very very fassy things. Thank you for the correction, Arkamoon. Trump is fassy.
Did not change from being a democratic country. I'm lost as to what he's talking about. But again, this is what people believe.
The looting charts. Yeah, someone's going to clip that. I'm screwed forever.
Because this is what the media
I'll never live it down.
Them. This is what the talking heads and the figureheads told them. This is what the celebrities told them in Hollywood. Everyone told them this, right? I'm saying
yeah, but like Trump was talking about launching nukes at North Korea. Like Trump has fascist tendencies. Like that is, and some people like, so to be clear, some people like fascist tendencies. If you do, great, awesome. But there's no denying that Trump has fascist tendencies. Like, I feel like that's an objective fact.
I'm saying fascism instead of fascism. Okay.
Okay, I'm glad someone corrected him.
A fascism. Sorry, I'm lisping. Okay.
No, you're not lisping. It's not because you have a speech problem. It's because you didn't know the word. You didn't know the word fascist. I am willing to bet that that's the first time Phil ever read the word fascist or fascism. I'm willing to bet.
Let's continue. Anthony Nephew previously even issued a chilling warning about his mental health battles, writing in an op-ed to the local Duluth News Tribune in 2021. For millions of Americans, a breakdown leads to suicide or homicide before suicide. Mental health in the country is stigmatized, ignored, or treated as a burden for the individual to bear alone with little help and less understanding.
Oh my God. I want to see what Phil says about mental health. This is going to be a trip.
Americans deny they have mental health struggles because they have to, because they're told to, or because they don't realize their mind's broken. The police in Duluth, the city of 90,000 residents, have not yet determined a motive in the shootings. Well, I mean, there might be a follow-up at this point. I don't know.
I mean, the motive in the shootings is that he's mentally ill. Like, I think I think that's very clear. Like, he was obviously suffering from a lot of severe symptoms of mental illness, and then this happened, right? So, like, this is a failure to treat mental health issues in a lot of ways.
This was from, like a week ago.
Hold on. Wait.
Not yet determined.
Yeah. So we've got more bedroom unmentionables. We've got like corsets and girdles and forearm gloves and latex mini dresses. What is he buying for Kat?
A motive in the
Maybe a lot of people say they don't have panty time. These targeted ads are making me think he's having panty time with someone.
Well, I mean, there might be a follow-up at this point. I don't know, because this was from, like a week ago, a little over a week ago. Because I was saving these up for the night when we were going to do this as a topic. Okay? Continuing on, we have another one.
All right.
Another one, everyone.
You're just going to move on?
Wife of a prominent trans writer hacked father to...
Oh, okay. We're going to talk about trans issues. All right. Oh, I'm gonna put the call out again to open up the phones. If anybody has anything to say with the call-in segments, if not, we'll just keep moving on. The number again is 1-917-740-8933. It will remain anonymous, but if you wish to ensure that for yourself, use *67 before dialing. You can also join the conversation on Discord by joining the waiting room I've set up on Detractor Beam. There is a link to that in the description. So if anybody feels like calling in, go ahead and call in. If not, we're just going to keep pushing on.
Death with an ice axe after Trump's election night victory. A space rocket program manager butchered her father with an ice axe on election night after a breakdown following President-elect Donald Trump's victory.
That's intense.
And was found smiling and clapping, covered in her loved one's blood.
Again, mental illness. This is just mental illness. I don't want to use the term. I shouldn't use the term. It's not that deep, but this is just mental illness. Like, this is just mental illness.
Cops say Lori Burke considered the bloody rampage in which she allegedly strangled, bit, and hacked her 67-year-old father in the $800,000 Seattle home they shared as an act of liberation, charging documents allege. Burke, 33, is a training program manager at Blue Origin, Jeff Bezos' spacecraft company, according to her LinkedIn, and is married to a prominent transgender writer, Samantha Leigh Allen, Public Record Show. Well, let me tell you something. Jeff Bezos has the best screening program possible for his training managers. Like,
Thank you, Sonny.
Program manager,
you know what?
huh?
I should pin my little blurb. I put a blurb for this. I'll pin it in the chat.
Let's continue. I'm not even looking at that one. Let's keep going.
I'm going to pin a chat
Allen
comment.
is the author of the acclaimed book, Real Queer America, LGBT Stories from Red States, and an editor at them, a Condé Nast transgender news publication. The killing was meant to help people change their attachment to their parents and had to happen today, Burke told police, her face covered in her father's blood, according to court documents. Burke had been upset about the election and knew Trump would handily beat Vice President Kamala Harris when she allegedly snapped, apparently when her father, Timothy Burke, refused to turn off the lights. She went upstairs, grabbed an ice pickaxe, gripped her father, choked and bit him on the floor, and then struck him repeatedly with the blunt and sharp ends of the tool.
That's
Burke sat down
graphic,
next to her
dude.
father and watched him die, then smashed all the windows of the house, which she described as an act of liberation. When cops arrived, they found Burke clapping because she was so happy. Burke was worked at Blue Origin for about 5 years, according to her LinkedIn page, and lived with her father in a house in South Seattle. But she's married, but she's living with her father in a house in South Seattle.
Yeah, you can... Maybe she lives with her father for the commute and is married to her partner, still married to her partner, ? There are plenty of married couples who don't live together full-time every day of the week. It's a thing that happens. It's a thing that happens.
Where is her significant other living? Burke told police she had a strained relationship with her father without strong boundaries that left her feeling hyper-focused and disorganized. So why is she living with her father?
Hyper-focus. Do you think he's going to hyper-focus on the word hyper-focus? You know that's one of his favorite things. Let's see.
Married, but still living with the dad, but you have issues with the dad. I'm very confused. Trump's election victory overwhelmed her and finally pushed her attention to the breaking point, she said. When officers arrived, she came out of the house with her hands up and blood smeared on her face, but she said she didn't have any idea where the blood came from or who smashed the windows. She later described the dispute with her father over the lights, eventually whispering, "I killed him," to one officer. Charging documents said Burke has been charged with first-degree murder and is being held.
That sounds special. Oh, we've got a caller on the troll phone coming up. Hello, caller. You are on the troll phone. What's on your mind and who am I speaking with?
I go by Fast12 on YouTube. Anyways, I'm a troll for a different lolcow. That's unrelated, though.
Sure.
We're going to hear talks about morality, about gay and trans rights from a person who fansat about incest.
Correct. Yes. I was hoping somebody would mention that.
DSP fansat on incest.
Yes.
2 times, actually.
He said if their relationship is meaningful, right? So... we'll see what he says about that.
With your sister, it's okay.
Yeah, exactly. I think we are bound in a few minutes to get some weird moralizing arguments about trans trans issues and things like that. He's also weirdly fixating on the fact that these two people don't live together.
Also, what the fuck are these advertisements?
Yeah, I keep getting distracted by these and they're targeted ads, so the data's got to come from somewhere. The data has absolutely got to come from somewhere. But I agree. We are about to get some dented morality argument. Anything else on your mind, sir?
No, that's all.
All right. Well, thanks for calling in. Thanks for keeping it short and sweet, and maybe we'll talk to you again soon.
Have a nice night.
All right. Bye. All right. Well, awesome. If anybody else would like to call, the phones are open and the Discord waiting room is live. Link is in the chat. Link is in the description, as well as the pinned chat comment. Let me just see if there's anybody else on the Discord. Nope, no one in the Discord yet. So we're just gonna keep on pushing on.
Dollars bail. Now, as much as I would like to say, these are the only two stories, they're not. These are the two biggest stories. These are the ones that have been kind of sensationalized, but there have been numerous reports of fights breaking out, family members literally disowning their other family members, friendships breaking and ending, relationships breaking and ending, all because Donald Trump won the U.S. presidency. If you're involved in one of these situations, okay, I have a sincere question for you, and I would hopefully like to get an answer tonight.
What's your question?
Here's my question to you. What the fuck is wrong with you? It's a fucking election. It happens every 4 years. No.
I don't know. Elections are pretty significant. Elections can be very significant for a lot of people. There's a lot of stress associated with a new president coming in. Whether you like them or not, honestly, there's a lot of stress associated with any sort of transition.
Really, we have presidential elections in the United States every single 4 years. In fact, there's no chance that Donald Trump can be president a second time after this one, because this will be his second term. There's checks and balances in place to make sure.
Okay, yeah, like I agree. There is no chance that Donald Trump theoretically would be elected a third time. However, you can do a lot in 4 years. And if you don't agree with the views of the commander-in-chief in a span of 4 years, a lot can happen for you mentally.
That he can't be a president the third time. So what the fuck is wrong with your head? Why would you lose a friend, lose a loved one, lose a family member or a significant other? Why would you take extreme action because of a fucking election? I want you to look around you right now, all of you who are watching live or who...
And this also proves that like he doesn't stand up for anything. Like DSP does not stand up for anything. It's so frustrating. If he had political views, opinions, prescriptions, he would be way more concerned about politics.
We're watching this show on demand. Because some of you will probably watch this as a clip, correct? Look around. Do you see Donald Trump anywhere in the room? I don't see Donald Trump anywhere in the room. Well, actually, he was on it.
No, DSP, I'm not going to scroll back to it, but you have your face on Donald Trump in the intro, my guy. That's significant. You can't say this has nothing to do with Donald Trump and have your face on Trump's face in the intro. Hello?
Screen. But luckily, that's a digital representation. That's not the real Trump. All right? The truth is, yes, Donald Trump's election will affect us all in some way.
Yes. Yes. You just said it. Donald Trump's election will affect us all in some way. And I would add to his statement, it'll affect us all to varying degrees. Some people more than others, to be honest. So people have a right to concern. People have a right to be concerned if they're concerned.
Life goes on. It's literally not the end. Donald Trump is not going to move in with you. He's not going to force you to do things against your will every day. When you pour your cereal into the cereal bowl and you're about to pour milk in it, Donald Trump will now walk up to your table, drop trowel, pull out his member, and piss into your
bowl. This is the DSP absurdism. Moving on.
Bowl of cereal in the morning. That's literally not going...
Yeah, look, Trump is literally there. Literally there. Right there. Right there. Right there. Right there.
To happen. Jesus, there he is. You see what I mean? That's not going to happen. So why are you acting like that's going to happen? Why are you acting like the world is over?
I don't know. I've seen people on the other side literally say, if Obama, I remember in 2008, people saying, quote, if Obama is elected, the liberals will take all our jobs, acting as though some liberal force was going to walk into their workplace and escort them out. I have seen arguments on both sides, and I know I'm fence sitting, but I'm more of a filter than anything else. But I have heard the right side Republican argument say, quote, if Barack Obama is elected, the immigrants will take our jobs. Physically take our jobs. Like, people think that. He doesn't understand that like some people think that. And there are some Democrats who genuinely believe that that sort of change by force will happen. So you have to give those people a little bit of grace, in my opinion, because they do exist. And you have to understand and acknowledge their existence. And DSP is not.
I'm lost. Now, the people there, obviously, who did the extreme actions, they're unhinged. We already know that. One of the guy admitted over and over that he had mental illness and he didn't know how it was going to affect him. The other person, geez, the way that they're acting, yeah, they're laughing at it, that they brutally murdered their father. It's insane, right? We can all agree there. That's not sane thought. That's just it's broken mentality or broken mental state. But for other people who didn't go to that extreme, but then they're still acting like this. Oh my God, the world is... No, it's not. I want you all to take a deep breath.
I had a friend in college, a friend in quotes, more of like a work acquaintance. I had a work acquaintance at my job in college that literally said, and this was around the time the Hunger Games was huge. This was like sometime before the 2012 election, I think. And she said, yeah, if Obama stays in office, it's going to turn into the Hunger Games. Did it turn into the Hunger Games? Fuck no. But I'm sure life changed for better, for worse for a lot of people. People speak hyperbolically, oftentimes to demonstrate their point. And DSP doesn't understand that you can engage people and get people to listen by using hyperbole, which he should understand because he does it all the time. How many times does he say, I swear to God, I'm not making this up. I got a last minute Hail Mary tip. He was saying on Friday how this episode of DSP Tries It was the most massive episode of DSP Tries It ever because I ate 3 burgers. Like, people speak in hyperbole because it's what gets your attention.
It's not over. Your life's not over. Perhaps there will be people in charge of this country for the next 4 years and you won't agree with their choices and you think perhaps they're going to give you a harder time to live. I've been there too, where, oh God, now things are going to be tougher for me for the next 4 years. All right. But it's going to be fine. In life, I've said this, life is a series of peaks and valleys like this, okay? Sometimes you're up here and you're a high and things are going well, and sometimes you're way down here at your worst and things are going bad. But it fluctuates like a sound wave, okay? That's life.
Big up sound wave.
Culture, things swing to the left and to the right like a pendulum. And sometimes you're all the way over here, and sometimes you're all the way over here, and sometimes you're kind of in the middle, and you get that kind of hypertension of people getting at each other's throats. Right now, we were all the way over here, and now we're swinging all the way over here for a while. But it's not going to...
This is very much the idea that DSP has, that like life happens to him. And... I'm gonna do a DSP-ism in a second. What I mean by that is life happens to DSP. DSP is the type of person that does not believe he's in control of his own life. He believes the trolls fucked him over. He believes Machinima fucked him over. He believes that the YouTube adpocalypse fucked him over. He believes that Leanna was taking advantage of him. He believes that the trolls are out to sabotage him and his content. It's always about the things that happen to him, never about the things that he is going to do. Because a healthy a healthy person of sound mind would talk less about life happening to them and more about what they are going to do. A lot of time, like, and you see that with a lot of streamers, whether it's a DSP detractor streamer like me or just like another game streamer, you'll hear them say, like, if they've got a new show coming out, like I've been talking about this call-in show for like a week now, a few days at least, and I've been telling people like, hey, I want to do a call-in show. We're gonna do a show where there's at least the option for call-in segments. I'm talking about what I'm presenting to you. I'm having agency for what's happening on this stream. It's never him. Even the way he talks about games coming out, he's like, oh, we've got this game coming out and that game coming out. Maybe it'll do well. It's never about him forging a path ahead for himself. Life always happens to him because he's the perpetual victim. So he also believes that life happens to people, that people do not influence their own destiny, because sometimes life does happen to you. But you're in more control of your life than DSP thinks.
Stay like that forever. It's going to go back. There's literally no reason for you to lose your mind over this. Elections are a 4-year cycle. Things will change. There'll actually be other elections in the meantime. The president is every 4 years, but other
he is a megalomaniac. Raziel.
They'll be changing
100%
right?
is.
We're going to see what happens. It doesn't mean to go nuts and murder people and do awful things. And
he has a high
high
opinion of himself, and he is sometimes manic.
Just keep a metered mind, a level head, and understand that things will.
Yeah, Timothy, it happens to me.
But things will get better. The truth is, I feel the reason these people react like this is because of the irresponsible people in charge who run things. If our media didn't present arguments like if this person gets elected.
Okay, but the irresponsible people in charge are not the media. The media is not in charge. Like, I'm taking your words literally, but you just said the wrong words. There's a difference between elected representatives and the media, and he's conflating the two.
It's all over for all of us, and the devil has won, and blah, blah, blah. Then people wouldn't freak out like that. But the thing is, they think they can't win the election unless they exaggerate.
Yeah, and the other side does the same thing. The right does the exact same thing. What did I just say? I just said I had an acquaintance in college that said it's going to be the Hunger Games if Obama stays in office. Everybody does this, Phil. Everybody does this. Whether you agree with it or not, everybody does this. I'll say it again. That's politics, baby. That's just politics.
So they have to lie. They have to say the ridiculous thing. They have to go over the top. Because if they don't, then they can't get the votes they need. And if that's the case, isn't that the real problem here? At the end of the day, isn't the problem that you can't win the election without using the hyperbole? And that goes for Democrats and Republicans. I feel like...
Yeah, Bode, 100%. I agree with you wholeheartedly. The media is more closely related to the people in charge than it should be. Yes, absolutely. I worked in political news for a while, for a few years. That was my TV station job. And we had to be shockingly close and friendly with a lot of these political teams in order to get in places, in order to be able to cover events and things like that. It's just how it works. It sucks, but it's how it works.
On both sides, they need to cut the shit. Because there's dumb people, there's weak-minded people, there's mentally ill people who either believe them or can't handle reality. And when you teach them that everyone's a boogeyman, everyone's out to get them, everyone's evil, for us or against us, it's right and wrong, it's black and white. Bullshit. It's not. It's shades of gray. It's people who have disagreements.
That was a vintage DSP bullshit. Vintage. You guys know what I'm talking about. He has a certain way of saying bullshit that's like very, very vintage. And we don't get that old callback to bullshit very often. Here it is.
Everyone's evil, for us or against us. It's right and wrong. It's black and white. Bullshit.
Bullshit.
It's not. It's shade.
It reminds me of the rant. Bullshit. I'm loving this game. I'm voice acting, and I disagree with anyone who says that about either Watch Dogs 2 or Pokemon. It's that same Sun and Moon rant. It's exactly that, and I love that rant, by the way. I'm sorry, I got derailed.
Shades of gray.
Yes, Banana Jones knows. Bullshit. I'm loving this game.
It's people who have disagreements who have to learn to coexist, work together, so that all of us can be prosperous.
Oh yeah, I don't know how he still has such a strong Connecticut accent. I never developed that accent, really. I guess a little bit. I guess you can tell probably a little bit that I grew up in Connecticut, but I don't have that same weird like Bridgeport. Although I didn't grow up in Bridgeport. I grew up about 40 minutes from there. But I talked to a lot of people with that accent, and it is a thing. Like, the Bridgeport accent is a very specific affectation.
Happy and healthy. It's not I win at the expense of you losing. It's we learn how to all exist together and win together. That's the problem with American politics. That's why.
Yeah, but in order to coexist, like, we have to vote. That's the thing. In order to coexist, there has to be a governing party. Like, what DSP is proposing is that there is no one governing party, and like, I'm sorry, but American politics is just not wired that way. They're just not. We have to work with the system we have, even if it's imperfect.
We have these situations because they don't know how to do that, because that's the hard way of doing things. Instead of, fuck you, I win, it should be we all win. But that's a harder idea. That's a harder concept to grasp. And they don't want to think. They don't want to have to work. They just want to sit and ride high and, get the votes on the bullshit instead of earning the votes. Okay.
Okay.
Ladies and gentlemen, that's it for that topic. I think it's time to move on. We have one more major topic for tonight, but I have some contributions to shout out.
All right, we'll listen to part of the contribution segment, I guess, and then I'll
Absolutely.
And then I'll open up another call-in segment in a minute.
Absolutely, Ren. Ren says, I think both campaigns and the media all need to be held accountable for misinformation and controlling the narrative versus displaying facts. It's actively dividing us. Yes, yes, yes. That is the problem with
That is the coldest take. Like, of course the media needs to be held accountable. Like, of course. Yes. I worked in political news media. I saw shit happen.
this country, there is no accountability for anything. No one is held accountable. And guess
Yeah, fluctuating miasma. Good point. Says the guy who won't talk to any of his detractors. Lord knows people have reached out. Lord knows people have reached out.
what? That ties into our next topic. I'm not kidding you. This is all transitioning into our final major topic of the night, but allow me to do some shout outs and we're going to see how we're doing. Okay. I received a $2.50 tip from only Brian. I think,
Yes, Mbode, if you're in the Discord, step into the waiting room and I'll take you in a couple minutes. Yes. I'm going to pull you into another secret room, but yes, I will take your call. I'm happy to speak to you, buddy.
excuse me. I think Obama, I can't stop burping now. I think Obama can take the blame for a lot of this. Obama did a number with his politics. Can't spell it so well.
Obama.
Well, we could go back and talk about that. We're not talking about Obama tonight.
Oh, he won't talk about Obama. Okay. I wonder why.
All right. Obama was a Mac Daddy. We can all agree on that, though, correct?
Obama was a Mac Daddy.
There you go. All right. That was a meme ages ago. Obama's a Mac Daddy. Remember that? That was an old meme. All right. Continuing on. I received a $5 tip
From a troll.
What?
From a troll.
That's the same. Yes, that's the same story. Someone tipped $5 says that's a bogus story. The same gal cited in this story. The story is the same woman. That's not bogus. It's corroborating the story. It's a different news.
Not collaborating. Corroborating. Corroborating. The word is corroborating.
Outlet covered the exact same story. It's real. Thanks for the $5 tip. I think you're a little confused there. More than one news outlet can cover the same
Thanks for the $5 tip, fucking stupid.
story. We're in the last hour. We're in the home stretch. Again, guys, please support the stream in some way if you can. Whether that's a sub for yourself, a gifted sub for your fellow viewers.
He's like
or a tip. All right, let's hit
conducting
the goal
the
tonight,
symphony.
considering the fact that supposedly we have 1,070 viewers here tonight. Let's
Bots, by the way. I think 1,000 are bots and maybe 70 are real.
hit the goal tonight. Do it. All right. It's time for our next.
All right. Before that, we're gonna do a call-in segment. Phone's not ringing, but M Bode is in the waiting room. Let's admit M Bode to the waiting room. Hello, M Bode. You are on the Discord side of the troll phone. What's on your mind, man?
All right, let me turn down my radio.
Yes, turn your radio down.
So Phil was talking about he's like, don't let the election ruin like your relationship with your family members, and it's like, yeah, that's pretty hard to do when you don't speak to them.
Yes.
Like this dude
That's an
doesn't
excellent
talk
point.
to his family members.
No.
And, like, I try and shut down. Like, if people want to get heated about politics, it's not going to be fun at a family event. But
Yes.
like, this dude does not speak to his family unless he needs money.
Nope.
And now that he has his Renaissance, he doesn't even need to talk to his man at all.
It's true. That's true. That's true. That you're raising excellent points as always. And the thing is, like, I disagree politically with some of my family members. Some of them disagree with me. My parents, actually, I don't disagree with a lot of their politics, but we still talk. My mom was here last week. We still hang out. We still talk. There is a conversation to be had, and like what he's saying is in theory good. But
yeah, it has the right
but we
sentiment.
Know, like it's the right message for the wrong reasons from someone who factually we know doesn't talk to anyone, but maybe his mother once a week. You know,
my family will like tell jokes about it.
Sure.
Like yeah, it'll we'll go with the memes, but it's like I don't want to have a serious debate where we have to like pull up philosophical writings at the dinner table when we see each other like twice a year. Like this will ruin the gathering, and there's no reason to do it. Oh, also he was saying that corroborating was supposed to be the word. Phil
he
just
said
thought that was
collaborating.
the Chinese guy trying to say corroborating.
Oh yes.
That was what happened there.
We've got
just him. He doesn't think it's two words.
We've got collaborating and fascist are the two words today that we learned.
Yeah, fascist and accessory. Which
Accessory.
AVGN says accessory in the early episodes.
Yeah, he does. And
I think that's where he got it from.
I had Rob the robot and all the accessories. Like, yeah, he talks about that shit when he's talking about like peripherals. Yeah, you're right.
Like there's
a lot of similarities between him and James Rolfe. If you really look, it's just the difference is James Rolfe girl found a way to parlay his weird autism into success, and Phil squandered it. You know,
I've kind of avoided most of the DS politics because it's just the guy talking about stuff he doesn't know about for hours on end.
Yeah,
which like it makes me like not even what his politics are. It's just like I just can't, like, he just rambles about nothing. He doesn't get like an inch under the surface.
no, he has.
Like if he actually had if he actually had like hard controversial opinions, then
Yes.
it might be fun, but not this guy.
No, he's unwilling to say anything real, which is interesting because his tag on Kick is DSP Gaming Real, and everything he says is just regurgitated nonsense.
Yeah, raw playthroughs, no bullshit.
Yeah. It's frustrating. Anything else on your mind, Embode?
Yeah, just one. Yeah. I'm not going to get into like specific issues of politics, but we sort of have this. I don't know if it's just American or it's the whole world, like anywhere that votes. We sort of have this fetish for voting, where it's like everybody has to vote. It's your right, and you better do it.
Mm-hmm.
And I was kind of always of the opinion that like if you don't know who either of the candidates are, you probably shouldn't vote.
Yes.
Because what are you voting for then? You're just voting based on what more people you talk to said you should do.
Yep, I
like,
agree.
I try to research the down ballot votes, but like we had judge elections in my state, and I couldn't find anything about how any of the judges ruled on any case. So I'm like, all right, I'll leave those ones
a
blank.
lot of court records and legal proceedings are closed. So yeah, it's weird when you're thinking about judge nominations. I had a similar thing happen in my county where I was trying to research some of the appointments, and I couldn't find anything.
Yeah,
but
it was just 98% favorable for all of them, and I don't know any of the cases they. Yeah, it's like, all right, well, I guess I don't really have an opinion.
How judge rules on crimes or decisions at a county level can really affect your life. Like, say you get picked up or charged on something, it could be that judge that rules your case. You don't know. So, and
like there could be a judge that's for speed cameras or something, where it's like, yeah, I'm against that, but it's like, how would I even know if the judge is?
We have speed cameras in not parts of the county where I live, but like speed cameras are huge for New York. We have those. We have red light cameras in some counties where if you're at a yellow and it turns red, kind of like as you're going, and it's a better decision to flow it. You can see the light take a picture of you, and it's like, oh shit, they're gonna send me a ticket in the mail in 2 weeks. And like, that fucking sucks. I am way against that kind of policing where you just get a letter in the mail. If you want to police me, have a cop pull me over. That's my opinion.
I thought it was declared unconstitutional, but maybe that was just in the state I was in at the time.
Probably, because they're still doing it where I'm at. They're still doing it.
Yeah, or at least they're pretending to.
Yes, because I know my girlfriend's mother got a letter in the mail from the New York Traffic Authority asking her to either pay a fine or go to court, and that's how they get you. They say, well, you could pay the $80 or you can show up in court to a city
that's declared unconstitutional. Yeah.
Right. It's like, yeah, you could go to court to defend yourself against this ticket in a town that's 40 miles away on a work day, or you could just pay the money, you know? So,
yep.
Look at that. We actually talked about something semi-political. Big ups. Cool.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah. Anything else on your mind?
I think I'm good. Thanks for having me.
All right. Well, thanks for coming on, Embode. I'm sure we'll talk to you again. All right. Thank you, Embode, for calling in. Take it over to the phone. All right. Phone's not ringing. We're moving on.
Story on DS Politics.
Keep trucking. To his third and final topic.
Ladies and gentlemen, Darkside Pimp has just gifted 5, 10, 12 subs to the channel.
There he is.
12 subs here tonight.
Darkside
That is
Pimp.
by far the biggest contribution that I've received. Let's get Darkside Pimp up on the leaderboard. How are you tonight, Darkside Pimp? Welcome to the stream. That is a whopping, massive $60 of support.
Oh my God.
That means we are at 149 out of our
$1
$150 tonight. Now, remember what I said. I said if we hit the goal, that's great. If we exceed the goal, the extra funds are going towards me doing a double or triple episode of DSP Tries It tomorrow. Earlier today, we exceeded the goal by $36. So if we can get another 64. Yeah, we can get another 64.
Oh yeah, this was part of the 3-burger scam. That's right.
Extra
We're
dollars
time
tonight on the goal. I'm going to do the first ever triple taste test on DSP Tries It tomorrow. 3 different restaurants making a smash burger, and I'm going to compare them all. So let's do it. The first ever, the biggest, the best DSP Tries It I've ever done tomorrow over on DSP Gaming.
All right, I don't care.
Washington State, mean, crime, liberal. All right? Now, everything here, the government,
here we
every
go.
level of it, the way that they police,
this is the topic.
Everyone in charge is incredibly liberal. All right? Now, I don't have an issue with that. What I have an issue with,
yeah, you do.
Actively in the last 4+ years, crime has become a ginormous problem.
Like you factually do. So let's extrapolate here. You're saying how crime is high and policies are too lax. Who sets those rules? Who runs on those policies? Politicians, right? So you do have a problem with liberal policy and liberal politicians. Like, again, it's fine to not like liberal politicians. That's not what I'm criticizing. But if that's your view, just say it. I'm frustrated that he's being such a political cuck and like he's not saying what his views are. Say something. It's like M. Bode was saying on the troll phone earlier. He's not saying anything. He can say so much while saying nothing.
Here in the Seattle area.
All at the same time.
And I don't just mean, oh, there's a few thefts here or there. I mean actual organized crime rings. People who are smashing into buildings overnight and robbing ATMs by stealing someone's car in a carjacking and then driving it through the front double doors, smashing the ATM, taking the money, and running out the door. People who are driving into the front of drug dispensaries, like the marijuana dispensaries that are legal here in the United States, they'll drive right into it, rob the entire...
Yeah, but like policy is not going to stop people from doing an ATM smash and grab. Like if you want to do an ATM smash and grab, you're doing it. Policy is not going to deter you from that.
Entire store. We've got rings of people who in one night will rob 4 to 5 different stores in the same neighborhood. And they don't ever get caught or go to jail. Okay?
Receipts, DSP? Receipts? I'm pretty sure the police would be interested in recovering a stolen ATM, by the way. I'm pretty sure if there's one thing that the police would prioritize, it's that. Again, he's showing no receipts.
It's gotten so bad, and the crime out here has escalated so badly. I swear to you, this is not an exaggeration. I'm going to prove it to you in a second. You can now go to a store, any retail store. All right, let's take an example. Walmart. You can go to Walmart right now, and you can stand at the front of Walmart and just look around for 2 hours straight. You will absolutely witness someone stealing and running right out the front door with absolutely no one to stop them, nothing to track them.
On a long enough timeline in a big box retail store, you're going to witness someone stealing something. This is not news. Like, this is not news. I can stand at my local Best Buy for 2 hours and see someone steal something. Guaranteed. People steal. People steal, DSP. I'm sorry, but people steal.
Or follow up on that crime, and no repercussions whatsoever. Okay? The law enforcement out here have been outright told to not even bother apprehending people who steal from retail stores unless they're putting people in like physical harm.
Again, receipts. Receipts. I'm pretty sure that loss prevention representatives, who are the people who stand at the front of the store to see if people are stealing, I'm pretty sure that those people have been told not to touch anyone. But I don't think local officials would tell police to stand down, nor do I think it's within the purview or the capacity of local officials to tell police to stand down. He's acting like the Washington State Attorney General is telling, or the governor is telling police not to fight crime, which he is yet to present one shred of evidence that that's the case.
Or they're stealing an incredible value amount of stuff, like thousands upon thousands of dollars of product, then they will actually physically arrest them. Otherwise, if they get caught, they just get told, give the product back, and then they let them go. They literally don't do anything about it. They're not arrested.
Because the product is recovered. It's a petty crime. Do you want everyone going to jail for petty theft? Do you want a kid going to jail because he stole a pack of Skittles? Fuck no. Just let the kid go. It's not worth it, dude.
They're not even detained. They just let them go. Now, it got so bad.
He is just making shit up.
So bad.
He is just making shit up. DSP is saying he would rather a kid go to jail for a pocket full of Skittles than just be let go. Like, come on, man. Part of policing is you have to prioritize. Like, so much of policing is just prioritizing what's important. And to be honest, if Seattle is as bad as he says it is, if it's as dangerous as he says it is, petty theft is probably pretty low down on the list.
The people here in the last year to year and a half have begun to say, we went too far. We made the laws too lax. We made it too easy to commit crime. We made it so that there's no repercussions. And because of this, we need to change. What was happening was businesses in downtown Seattle were getting robbed so frequently, so often, with no way to stop it. They all went out of business. There was a Target that was in downtown Seattle. Target, you know, the major corporation chain, had to close their doors because they were losing more product than valid sales. Multiple stores were getting smashed and attacked every night, and they had to go out of business.
K-Pathic, so it's possible that he's not making shit up, but the problem I have with it is he's making some huge claims and he's not presenting any receipts. If he's going to have a political show and he's going to present claims like this and not show receipts, that's bad faith. That's bad faith. I can believe that things are, say, more lax in Seattle or California than they would be in a place like Texas or Florida. Like, I get it. I get it. I understand. I get it. But he's not showing receipts. He's not showing receipts. Because I've been to states like Texas, I've been to California, and I live in New York. I can tell you. And I've been to Florida a bunch too. I can tell you, cops in New York State, where I'm at, and policing in New York State in general, way more relaxed than policing in a place like Florida or Texas. So I think what he's saying does have a grain of truth to it. But again, I think he's speaking in hyperbole and he's not showing receipts.
So finally, people went to the government and said, we have to stop this. You have to do something. We're dying out here. Our businesses cannot exist or live. We need a Seattle Batman. What do we call him? Liberty Man. I don't know. Captain Lefty. I don't know what to call.
Captain Lefty.
To do something.
Yo!
Because right now,
Captain Lefty. You guys heard it. Captain Lefty. That's a shout out. Shout out.
Nothing is stopping this. It's just getting worse and worse. Okay? And what I like to do is actually show you the evidence of what I'm talking about. All right? Because a lot of people say Phil makes it up. He lives in his gated community. He doesn't know what he's talking about. First of all, there's a reason I live in my gated community. I'm not a fucking idiot.
All true. All true, by the way. Phil doesn't know what he's talking about. He does live in a gated community. Honestly, I'm going to let you guys in on like a life thing for me. The condo that we moved into last week is in a private community. Nothing happens here. It is so... We went from living on the edge of like a pretty rough area in our old apartment to living here. Nothing happened. It is a bubble. I am in such a bubble in this house, kind of in a good way. But you have to make like my girlfriend and I like have had conversations about this since moving in. Like you have to make an effort when you live in a place like this to be part of the world. And DSP makes an effort to do the opposite. He makes an effort to isolate himself from the world.
Okay, I kind of saw where things were going. This is good for me and my family. Why do you think I moved here 10 years ago, right? But allow me to show you some of the things that are going on in Seattle right now. Why car thefts are a gateway to more serious crimes committed by kids. Wait, what did you just say? Car thefts are being committed by kids?
Hold on.
Yes.
Hold on.
We had an entire group of guys
called
the Kia Boys.
Oh! Fucking CT Kia Boys! Oh my god! I was hoping you'd cover this. CT Kia Boys. All right, hold on. We're going on a brief field trip. I am so excited about this. I am so excited about this. I think I showed some of this on stream. I'm gonna show you the beginning of a Channel 5 spot on CT Kia Boys. Get ready. Get ready. And pay close attention. Are you guys ready? You guys ready? Ready for this? Here we go.
CT.
The very beginning. This thing fucking pops. Are you guys ready?
Tell them come get us. CT Kia Boys in the city. They still can't catch shit.
If you were to raise kids right now, what's the main thing you'd tell them as far as steps for success in life?
Go get you any flat hat, any USB cord, and go get you any car you want. Nigga, you in CT,
Hell
BPT,
yeah.
you know how we do it over here. Big 203 shit.
And BPT stands for Bridgeport, right?
Yeah, CT.
Let's hear that again.
BPT, you know how we do it over here. Big 203 shit.
And BPT stands for Bridgeport, right?
Yeah, CT Kia boys.
Get ready. Get ready for some Bridgeport talk. Get ready. Let's go back. We're going back to Kick. But I thought you guys would need that tiny bit of context for the CT Kia boys. So let's see what he says about it.
Stealing all the Kia cars. Children. These were not people in their, late teens, 20s, 30s. Children. We're doing this. Okay? In our series, Underage and Under Arrest, law enforcement experts say stolen cars are driving a spike in juvenile crime. Over the past several months, King 5 reported an alarming trend of Western Washington, a spike in crimes committed by juveniles. No juvenile crime has spiked more than car thefts. Law enforcement experts say it's leading to an increase in more serious crimes committed by kids. The stolen cars are being used in armed robberies and smash and grab burglaries. They find a soft target, and just keep going till they just can't anymore. Co-owner of #Cannabis Logan Bauer said, Bauer Shop in Old Town Redmond has been hit by burglars 5 times in the last year. In many smash and grab cases, surveillance videos show groups of people scurry into a shop to pick off product and look for cash. Law enforcement said more often than you think kids are behind those masks. Every time it is crushing to a small business. Every time, probably 30,000 to 40,000 worth of damage to the building. Or probably around 200K worth of damage at this point last year alone. The cars that ripped through the dispensary are part of a trend around Western Washington. In King County, compared to 2019, juvenile felony charges for car thefts are twice as high. The numbers are even more extreme in Pierce County, where car thefts have tripled.
Yeah, dude.
Tripled. And now they're on pace in 2024 to be even higher.
If there's an exploit that you can steal a car with a USB connector, people are going to do it. I'm not saying it's right, but this doesn't surprise me. Like, if Kia and Hyundai ignition systems can be so easily exploited, crimes will be committed.
Sergeant Darren Moss of the Pierce County Sheriff's Department and other law enforcement experts said to pull off more serious crimes, you often have to start with a car. It's the start of any crime that you're going to think of. That's the first step. Police officials say recent laws are contributing to the increase in car thefts. Like in 2021 police pursuit law that only allows officials to initiate a chase if they had reasonable suspicion of a violent crime. Kids knew it would...
Correct. And I wonder why he knows. I wonder if he knows why high-speed chases are minimized or discouraged. Let's see if he knows why, because I do.
It'd be easier to get away with stealing a car. So as long as they're not actually physically attacking someone violently, cops were told, just let it go. So that shoplifting, stealing of anything, all allowed. Now that law, luckily, was reversed over this last summer. But what's happened is, for 3-4 years, people knew that they could just get away scot-free with it. So now you have a whole generation of people who are acting like that.
Okay.
A law still on the books doesn't allow minors to be questioned without an attorney. It was passed to prevent youth from coercive police tactics. Law enforcement said the outcome is...
Yeah, so, K-Pathic, that is an excellent point. If Phil wants to critique anything, it should be that some local or state governments have tried to blame or sue Kia. And I actually think that is... I actually think that is also... This is going to seem like I'm fence-sitting, but I think that, like, the car manufacturers are responsible for making their hardware so easy to exploit, to be honest. Like, if you make stealing a car easy, people are going to do it. That's I'm not saying they should or that it's right, but it's human nature. Like, people are going to do it. So I think the automakers do bear some level of responsibility, but also the reason why high-speed chases are minimized and discouraged by certain police agencies is that high-speed chases can cause a lot of damage and harm and fatalities to the people not involved. So he's not understanding that element of it.
Lack of accountability. What we're seeing is that we're not necessarily getting to address lower-level crimes, and it's leading to an increase in our violent crimes continuously. Prevention is the best way to keep kids from being tempted to do dumb crimes because they're not profitable. The people who are recruiting them don't care what happens to the kids.
Yeah, exactly. Oh no, Snood. Snood says, cops aren't allowed to aggressively interrogate minors without representation. Except for in the Netflix docuseries, Making a Murderer. Very sad story of cops railroading a slow kid into committing to a crime he maybe didn't do. Not once, but twice. Abso-fucking-lutely. Children should have a legal representative and or a parent present at all times talking to police. And also, I'm just going to get on my soapbox. You should never talk to cops. You should never talk to cops unless legally compelled to do so by a warrant. That's just a good way to live your life.
We can remove the profit incentive. We remove the incentive for people to coerce, encourage, or recruit kids to commit crimes.
No, just cause. I'm not banning
create
Snood.
Silos. Since 2020, he's seen more kids lose their connection to school and sports. You watch some of the most vulnerable stray to crime. When faced with adversity, they went back to the skills they learned in their trauma-informed spaces. This is what we're seeing in our communities. Young people that weren't equipped for the world we're now in.
I need to clarify what I just said about why you should never talk to cops. It is in your best interest never to talk to cops because it is true what they say. Anything you say can and will be used against you. You can misspeak if a police officer is interviewing you about someone who was murdered. You can misspeak, or if you say something like, "Oh, I didn't like the guy," you could just offhandedly say, "I didn't like the guy. I didn't like him, but I was here, you know, that night, this, that, and the third." The police and the prosecution could interpret that as you being a probable suspect. So it is in your best interest never to talk to cops without legal rep present. Nor do you have to, by the way. You are not obligated to talk to police officers without a warrant compelling you to do so, and also without legal representation present. First thing you should tell them is, am I under arrest? Can I go? And if it goes further, you say, I want a lawyer, or let me talk to my lawyer.
You want to know something? I'm reading this. Oh, by the way, I just talked about the Kia Boys. Here it is. Law enforcement has made strides to stop it. There's been a number of so-called arrests, involving the Kia Boys. What the?
Oh!
I'm just trying to highlight that. Thanks. A group of young people leveraged a design flaw in Kias and Hyundais, and they made cars popular by posting these videos on TikTok. The victims of these crimes, like #cannabis, are dealing with significant losses. Okay? So that's the article. Now, however, I do have a question. I have to ask a question. Okay? These are children. These are not grown adults doing it. They are children. A child is...
There's a difference between child and minor. You know, like... The words have different connotation. Like, these are minors, not children. I wouldn't call a 16 or 17-year-old who's under 18 stealing a car a child. I'd call them a minor. You know what I mean?
Is legally the responsible of their parent or guardian. Where the fuck are the parents? How is it that these kids are free to go out and do whatever they want? They can rob cars, they can drive them into the front of buildings, they can rob... Where the fuck are the parents? And if the parents are irresponsible, like someone literally just said in chat, they're home smoking crack. Let's say that's the case. And these kids get picked up for committing
not to talk too much about cops, but Mbode puts it perfectly. You have likely participated in 0 police investigations. The detective questioning you has likely been involved in hundreds. You're not talking your way out. And that's why it's so crucial to have legal representation present, because police detectives are incentivized to clear cases. They want to clear cases. They're working to find facts, but if they can make you fit the bill as a suspect, they're going to press you. So get your lawyer, get your representation. It's just a good thing to do. Don't believe what cop shows want to say people are dirty or crooked for asking for their lawyer. You have a right to legal representation when talking to the police. You should use that right. It's just a good thing to do. I would expect anybody to do that.
Violent crimes, robbing cars, destroying dispensaries. What is the punishment for that parent? Because they're legally responsible for the child. They're the ones that had the kid and has to raise that child and make sure that they become a productive member of society. Where's the punishment for the parent sitting at home high off their fucking ass?
No. But the parent didn't steal the car. He's extrapolating this out in a very retarded way, frankly. He's assuming absentee parenting should be directly prosecuted in the context of a car theft, and that's just not how policing works. I could argue that, like, Dave and Linda are responsible for your bankruptcy because they didn't teach you right. You know what I mean? You can extrapolate that to anything. How come Dave and Linda were not held responsible for giving you the financial tools you needed not to go into bankruptcy? Like, it never ends. With that line of thinking, it never ends. I'm like, I'll agree, parenting does have something to do with it. If the parents aren't there, or the parents don't equip the child to grow up to be a, let's say, productive member of society. I know that can be kind of a problematic term, but a lot of it does come down to the parents. But in terms of prosecution and policing of crimes, they're going to be looking for the person that did the thing. Because if you don't stop at the person who did the thing, it'll never end.
Because if there was a punishment to the irresponsible party that created the child, then they probably wouldn't have had the child. Get it? People are not just going to willy-nilly have kids and not care about them if it means they're going to get punished and locked up for the actions of the child. But for some reason, this is...
Yeah, but hold on. That's a paradox. Because he's saying that these car thefts are happening because the parents are at home, high off their ass, not taking care of the child. Okay, let's say you charge the parents with a crime and lock them up. The kid is now 100% without a parent instead of only seeing the parent half the time or 20% of the time. How does that square? So you're saying in order to teach the children better lessons, they should grow up without parents? Huh? What? Okay.
Like, lost. No one talks about this. No one can figure this out. It's like the big, crazy, unfigure-outable thing. Oh, punishment for actual irresponsibility? Yes. Let's continue.
Honestly, taking parents away from children, even absentee parents in some cases, punishes the child more because then that child gets put into the foster system, and the foster system is a bad place for a child to grow up. I thankfully have never been in the system. I had loving and supporting parents who were able to, by some miracle, raise my brother and I into adulthood with minimal issue. That is very difficult. I've had friends that grew up in the foster system. I've had family members that have adopted kids from the foster system. What he is saying would put more kids in the foster system than would actually help them.
West Seattle 7-Eleven robbed twice in 24 hours. There have been 8 robberies at the same location since February. What? 7-Eleven clerk Sheevan Kalyan is working the register at the West Seattle location the morning after his coworker was robbed on the job hours earlier. He took the whole thing from here and they took the cash from the register too. That's what they did, then they ran away. The second time in a day that his shop was hit by robbers. In less than 24 hours. Seattle police say 8 robberies since February. Kalyan wasn't working last...
Oh, Snood, thank you for the clarification. Snood says it's more like the threat of incarceration would be a deterrent from them reproducing. If you think future kids might be criminals, you'll simply... I simply will not have kids. Yeah, and I can sense the sarcasm in that comment. But yeah, DSP also is like, well, whoa. What? We know, wait, who's been searching this? So Kat's been searching for Kirby Couture sheer mesh plus size bralettes. So we know what kind of bralettes Catherine is. This dude needs ad blocker. He needs to screenshot. What he should be doing is he should be screenshotting these pages beforehand. But holy shit. So we know Kat's got this. ALT, you watching? Kat's got this little number for you. Imagine Kat in this sexy number right here.
Last night, but when a man held a gun to his head, an image of the crime was captured by store surveillance camera. Can we see that? Holy shit. Look at this. That's terrifying. Fucking guy's getting paid minimum wage to get a gun up his nose. Jesus. Oh, it was just down there anyway. Why did they... Now, wait a minute. Why did they put a link of that when it was literally right there and we were going to see it anyway?
Because they wanted to link the source. That's called linking the source or linking the entire video. Come on.
Keep working. We don't have an option. What do we do? This is not like a kid playing cops and robbers. These kids are very, very dangerous. You notice he's saying kids, because I'm not kidding you. These were children who committed these crimes, okay? No one is trying to stop them. They keep doing it. We got robbed the night before, then we get robbed 2 more times. All right, let's continue. The youngest suspect in a string of Seattle gas station robberies pleads not guilty. The boy, who was 13 years old, faces 4 counts of first-degree robbery and 1 count of making a false misleading statement to a public servant. A 14-year-old boy charged for a string of gas station robberies pleaded not guilty.
Okay, so like, what's your synthesis of this? Like, what is your take? Like, is your take? Because so far his take has been, oh, we punish the parents. Punish the parents when kids get in trouble. If that's your take, it's a dog shit take, man.
Guilty in the Juvenile Division of King County Superior Court on Thursday, November 21st. The boy who was 13 at the time faces 4 counts of first-degree robbery and then a count of making a false or misleading statement to a public servant. 19-year-old Amari Lard and 21-year-old Ty Xavius Holmes were charged with 4 counts of felony first-degree robbery in connection with the robberies. Both adults remain in custody on $400,000 bail and are scheduled to... What the fuck is going on over here? This is so distracting. This is so fucking stupid. God, these ads kill me. $400,000 bail and are scheduled to appear in court on December 4th. I can't even get it off the screen.
Oh man, notice? Hold on. We got to go back and see that. Is this like some like Bridget Moynihan Herbal Essences orgasm shit? I think this is like Herbal Essences orgasm shit, where like a lady is going to be like fake orgasming in a toga, because I think that's what this is. If y'all remember the old Bridget Moynihan Herbal Essences commercials, that's where she took off. That made me think some things. I was young when those campaigns were on, but I was like, holy shit, that lady is a nice looking lady having fun in the shower. Holy shit. One of my first loves was Herbal Essences Bridget Moynihan.
4 counts of felony first-degree robbery in connection with the robberies. Both adults remain in custody on $400,000 bail and are scheduled to... What the fuck is going...
Yeah, he hates that like a sexy lady is showing skin in this moisturizer
Here is
ad.
so distracting. This is so fucking stupid. God, these ads kill me. $400,000 bail and are scheduled to appear in court on...
Yeah, he hates this. Yeah, I'm a fan of I'm a fan of this toga, by the way. I support this. I support this.
December 4th. I can't even get it off the screen.
He freaks out. Oh my god. Okay, it's
police believe the trio was behind a series of convenience store robberies over an hour and a half in the early morning of November 15th from Georgetown to West Seattle. According to the court documents, the suspects paid off with cash from the registers, tobacco products, and a cashier's wallet. They were also captured on store surveillance footage at all 4 locations. They're also connected to several other robberies for earlier in the month, but no charges have been filed for those yet. Holy shit. The 3 were...
Okay, so what does this mean for politics? You're just talking about crime and crime stats. You're reading articles. What does this have to do with politics? Like, what is your political prescription?
Arrested Saturday, November 16th after leading police on a dramatic car chase that ended in a crash near Tequila.
Yes. So the Zathura says they literally have accountability. Like the article says they're being charged. The article literally says they're being charged. And there's parents being held on bail. Like, that's what the article says.
At the time of his arrest, the 14-year-old was wearing clothing nearly identical to that worn during the robberies that were committed. After being arrested, the boy allegedly provided a false identity.
Like, this is a situation in which they did catch the kid who stole the car, and he's being charged. And this article is describing the charges. Like, is he just not understanding this?
So, basically, they've got him dead.
So is he gonna say they caught this kid, but because others have gotten away, it's still stupid? Is that what's gonna be? Is that what his take is gonna be?
Right. They've got all the clothes and everything to prove that it was him. 13 years old at the time. But we're not done. Are you kidding me? Look at this. Look at this. This has nothing to do with the article. This is very annoying that they're playing that right now. It's very distracting. I don't care about what happens in Muckleshoot. You ready? It gets even worse. I saved the worst for last. It's unbelievable. An 11-year-old was among a trio arrested in connection to a Seattle convenience store robbery. Okay?
Bro, I knew people in Connecticut that were 10 years old and in a gang. Like, young kids are in gangs for a very specific reason. Because they can get away with things and not be charged as an adult. That's why gangs recruit young kids. And that's why young kids tend to be, put up to committing crimes. Because of that, like literally, it's not that surprising, to be honest. It's not good. And there should be, things should be done about it. And I agree, it largely falls to parenting, whether parents, can't be around or other things, what have you.
2 adults and a child appeared in court this afternoon in connection to his...
Yeah, Michael Kitchen, that's a good point. I wonder if Phil has seen The Wire. Because The Wire is basically this. The Wire is basically this.
String of convenience store robberies. The one in the video is holding a rifle and is 11 years old. Well, now I want to see it. Can we get past muckle bullshit? Can I see the video?
You got to play the ad.
Can we see the video?
You got to play the ad.
Can we...
Click on the ad. Ooh, hey, hold on. Who was that? It was that redhead lady
muckle bullshit?
At the bottom.
Can I see the video? Can we see the video?
I like her. She's my style. Look at this lady. Oh my, I like her. Big hair, green eyes. That's my type. I have a girlfriend style individual that looks kind of like that. Yeah, I got derailed by the pretty redhead lady. Okay, moving on.
Can we... You're making it really hard to do this show. And again, I can't use ad blocker because if you use ad blocker, they block you from these sites. Here it is. Ready?
the most spectacular.
Get fucked. Get fucked.
Oh my god.
Listen, Timo, I'll say what I say to everyone. I'm committed but not blind. I recognize a cute lady when I see one, and I'm allowed to talk about it, okay?
Oh. Oh man, yes, ultra felted. Ultra felted. Destroyed. Oh my god, we have to see this. Muckle shoot bullshit. Oh man. All right.
Look, he's like shielding his eyes from it.
Okay, are we
He
done yet?
doesn't
No,
want to
it's
see
still
an
going.
athletic lady
Incredibly
do her
disturbed.
thing. I think that's fucking cool.
Are we done? It's still going? Skip ad. Good fucking lord. Okay, here we go. Ready?
Imagine how amazing it would be, and because I've never had this experience, but imagine how imagine the shit you could get up to if you had a one-night stand with a circus acrobat. I'm just putting that out there. Just putting that out there. That seems pretty cool, right? And DSP doesn't want to acknowledge that these like pretty ladies can do cool things.
Guys, we finally get to do it. We finally get to watch the video, and then I have shout-outs to do.
Appeared in court this afternoon in connection with a string of convenience store robberies in Seattle. And
So hold on.
Thanks for joining us.
That kid holding that gun was 11 years old.
For King 5 News at 5, I'm Joyce Taylor. Sebastian Robertson was in
Uh-oh. Get ready for the nail biting.
the King County courtroom this afternoon, and he joins
How do you
us
go full screen? Can you not go full screen? This website is a piece of shit. I can't even go full screen.
with the latest. One of those suspects, very young Sebastian.
Very young, Joyce. One of the suspects believed to be caught on camera, just 11 years old. Prosecutors believe a rifle was involved. Say one suspect was 19, the other 21. Today, the trio, all three of them, appeared in two different courthouses, one juvenile, the other adult. Two judges ruling all three will stay in custody.
Now hold on, because I want to make something clear. We just watched or read an article that said there was a 19 and 21-year-old and a 13-year-old. That was a different trio. This is a complete...
Okay. Yep. So he did say what I thought he was going to say, which is, oh, they charge this one kid, but others might get away with it, which is I think, what he's going to say.
Completely different trio of criminals that are doing this. With this time, it's an 11-year-old instead of a 13-year-old. I'm not making this up. We are watching the actual news reports from my local news together right now.
Thank you, sir. You have a nice day. Convenience store owner Pawandeep Singh is still processing the fact that
There
an
it is, look.
11-year-old boy is accused of holding up two of his...
Yeah, that does look like an MP40, doesn't it? That thing, if it is an MP40, that's a fucking relic. Holy shit.
employees at gunpoint.
Where do you get that?
I know, it's unbelievable. The new generation, I don't know what they guys are doing, you know? Seattle police believe the same trio is behind a series of convenience store robberies over an hour and a half Friday morning from Georgetown to West Seattle.
So they basically went around and did 4 robberies back-to-back.
Thieves, they say, were not deterred by the dozens of cameras inside this Georgetown Shell station. Saturday night, according to court documents, police...
Yeah, it could be a grandpa gun. Could be like a family war relic that someone had access to. Or a replica. Good point. Because because you can get replica guns for like airsoft and things, and just general movie props. You can get them very cheaply, and even for prop guns, you can easily just screw the tip off, and you've got a very convincing looking, weight accurate gun.
Track the crew to a Hyundai driving near Willow, and they tried to hold the vehicle over.
A Hyundai, which is what we said. That's the car that they're stealing. They're stealing Kias and Hyundais.
Yeah, because the same manufacturer makes the same ignition system, and it has an exploit. Okay, moving on.
Driver took off, leading police to this intersection in Seattle's First Hill neighborhood. One of the suspects even appears to be wearing the same jacket as seen in the surveillance video. All three were arrested Saturday night. In addition to the allegations today.
Yeah, look, they sent a tactical team in because it was a hold-up robbery, and he's acting like the cops are like absent. Is kind of what he's trying to say. Like, oh, he's saying they never got away with anything. Like at the beginning of this video, or he's saying they're getting away with everything. Like at the beginning of this video, he's like, oh, they get away with everything. They never get caught. Then he just cited 2 scenarios, or 3 scenarios actually, in which the robbers get caught. It doesn't make sense. He's debunking himself, because if you're gonna say nobody ever gets caught when robbing stores and then bring up 3 examples in which robbers get caught, that kind of shoots your point, doesn't it?
The 19 and 21-year-old faced a judge. The court said...
And this goes back to what I was saying earlier. He has comprehension problems. Like, he's not able to realize that, like, oh, I'm actually showing evidence that robbers are getting caught and robbers are being prosecuted. He'll bend anything to fit his narrative.
Bond at $400,000.
Yeah, self-felted himself. That's right.
As for Singh's convenience store, they never missed a beat, hoping at the same time that the child and young men are still young enough to change course.
Maybe they can learn something for the future.
I hope so.
Joyce, the 2 adults remain in the King County Jail behind me. A judge ruled that the 11-year-old will also remain in custody. Worth noting, there is no bail or bond system in the juvenile justice system, so that young person will remain in custody at least until the next trial date.
So if this kid is found to be guilty of committing a crime, literally held a rifle up to a guy's head to rob him, and the kid obviously is going to go into some kind of detention, right? Juvenile detention or whatever. So what's the punishment for the parent?
No. Are you really going to say people get away with this? Because he said at the beginning of this segment, people get away with this. And then he basically debunked his own argument by saying 3 robberies had the people caught. And now he's going to say what happens to the parents? That's very fashy to me. That is, speaking of fascism, that's very, very fashy to me. The idea of like, yeah, we caught the kid, can we throw the parents in jail too? That's very, very fashy to me. Speaking of fascism. That's so retarded.
Parent allow an 11-year-old child free reign to hang out with gang members who could provide
You don't allow, no one's allowing their child to run in gangs. The few kids I knew in Connecticut that ran in gangs because their parents weren't there. Their parents literally weren't there. For a lot of people in these circumstances, either parents are in jail or maybe the mother works 3 jobs and you just can't be there for the kid. There are situations where you just can't physically be there. And Phil's not understanding that piece of the equation at all.
Happens to the child to commit armed robbery. I want answers on this. I want to know, why do we live in a society here in the United States where parents are not accountable for the heinous actions of their children?
Yeah, newsflash, a lot of kids don't do what their parents tell them. Yeah, most kids do the opposite of what their parents tell them, especially when they're like 13 and 11, like these stories are saying.
That child should have had a home to grow up in with a loving parent or parents to teach them responsibility, to teach them right from wrong, morality. They got obviously none of that, correct?
So you're going to also punish the parents for potentially just being dealt a bad hand? Because some people are just dealt a bad hand in life. Like some people are literally just dealt a bad hand. And maybe the father's not around and maybe the mother needs to work 3 jobs to pay rent or whatever. You're going to blame someone who works 3 jobs that their kid robbed a convenience store? Like, get the fuck out of here.
They're going out at 11 years old. You want to know what I was doing when I was 11? I was at home playing video games.
Because your parents had money to furnish a nice home for you and buy you video game systems and give you a good life and keep you sheltered. You are blessed. You were a blessed child. You got everything. These kids don't have everything. That's why people turn to crime. People turn to crime because of things they don't have or things that hurt. DSP fundamentally will never understand why people would commit crimes or why people would put themselves at risk like that.
I was playing outside with my friends with toys. I was collecting comic books.
He's disproving his own point. Like, DSP had a good upbringing largely because of circumstances. Dave and Linda were able to provide for them. Not everybody is able to provide for them, and it's not for lack of wanting or trying. I had friends growing up whose parents did not have money, but they hustled and worked 2 or 3 jobs to provide for their kids. But as a result, a lot of those kids barely saw their mothers and fathers, but they made it work. And some kids, when they have extra time on their hands, will turn to crime, unfortunately.
At that point, I think it was right around the time of the release. Let me think about that. It was Street Fighter. Yeah, Street Fighter had come out in 91, 92. So I was in arcades playing Street Fighter. That's what I was doing.
Again, Dave had the money and time to drive you to an arcade, sit in the corner to study engineering while you wasted his money on Street Fighter. Think about that. His father would drive to the arcade, study engineering, and then, or was it engineering or business? I forgot what his degree was. Either way, Dave studied for a college degree while this fuck played Street Fighter.
You know, today there are so many things for kids to do that are productive. There's sports, there's all these other programs, there's education, there's hell, stay at home, go on the internet, do something, do anything but hold up a store with a gun. Like, how did this happen? And who is looking into it, and who's going to be held accountable? Or is this kid just going to get thrown into the juvie system?
No, the child is being held accountable, though. That is the okay. Business degree. Business degree says Sonny. Thank you. That is the accountability, though. The child is being held accountable, and I would argue having the kid be put in the system is punishment enough on the parents.
To come out years later, have no family support, have absolutely nothing, and just basically become a criminal again the second they hit the streets. What's going to happen, right?
Yeah, Mbode says what's funny about Phil's bankruptcy fraud is that it cost the state 10 times more than any of these crimes. It really does. It really did. It really did cost the. It cost the state so much money to forgive debt the way they did in his bankruptcy compared to what these kids stole. What these kids stole is nothing compared to that.
I want to know. I seriously want to know what's going on. That there's this crazy epidemic of crime here in Seattle, including children stealing cars, teaming up with gang members.
I'm done. I'm done with this segment. I'm done. I'm done.
The law, rape.
I'm done. I'm done.
Asking for trouble.
I'm done.
Done with it. Hopefully.
He's looping. Okay.
This one. Okay. And did this one load? Okay. Good. All right. Shout outs. First of all, I believe there were two different gifted subs. I believe there was one earlier, and then there was one right now. Am I correct? I think there was.
All right. I don't care.
Two.
I don't care.
By $36.
All right, it's raining cookies. I don't care.
All right, let's take a look.
Fuck is this?
Actually, the first story is actually an outsider's perspective on what just happened in the United States election, and I find it fascinating to hear from another country.
Before we get into this segment, I'm going to open up for calls again. So if anybody wants to call in via the phone, you can. Or if anybody wants to hop in the Discord, there's links in the chat, or links in the chat and links in the description. If people want to call on the phone, the number is 1-917-740-8933. That number again is 1-917-740-8933. It will remain anonymous and not be shown to anyone, but if you want to ensure that for yourself, use *67 as you're putting the number in before you dial. Oh, and we've got a call from Anonymous. Here we go. Let's take it over to the phones. Hello, caller. You are on the troll phone. Who am I speaking with, and what's on your mind?
Hey, good morning. This is Paul. Hope you're having a great day.
Having a great day. What's on your mind there, Paul?
Yes, sir. So I was just, enjoying the musings of a very strange man that doesn't have any real solid background on anything. It's like listening to, he was talking earlier about how all this stuff is like hyperbolic and everything that he says it just sounds like he's a victim of that hyperbole. Like, it just doesn't really make sense to me. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's correct. It's so strange. It's so strange to just listen to it. And then I was thinking, so The Wire is one of my favorite shows, and I heard you mention him watching The Wire, and I just thought immediately the moment that a scene with Omar pops up, he's turning it off.
Absolutely, Omar, and he whistles his little theme. Yep, that he's biting his nails and he's clicking it off 100%. Yep.
Exactly. He's gonna find a way to paint Omar as the biggest bad person in the show, despite what Omar stands for. So it's very, very interesting to think about somebody with no media literacy watching something like The Wire. I have to admit, because it's one of my favorite shows.
Yeah, it's fantastic. I think too, the thing The Wire drives home, and it's probably lost on him, is that crime is complicated. Crime is very complicated. There's people I'm going to sound like DSP, but there's people on both sides of the equation who are doing the wrong thing for the right reasons and the right thing for the wrong reasons. And I think the show does a good job at painting that, because the cops are dirty too. A lot of The Wire is the cops being dirty in a lot of cases, being that the ends justify the means. But I think DSP would just be lost with that completely.
Exactly. The ending of The Wire is kind of bleak in a sense, like it's no real solid resolution for a lot of the characters, just kind of like a life goes on type thing. And I could just kind of hear him saying, so what, the cops didn't win? The cops didn't kill all the drug dealers? Avon's still alive or something of that nature. And it's just,
well,
you know, like,
well, right. I remember the ending of the first season, and I won't say much about it, but the ending of the first season, there's a specific conversation where they do the thing, they manage to the aforementioned wire works. They get the evidence they need. People start getting charged. But then there's a conversation that takes place at the very end that says like, yeah, we got the wire. We charge one person, but there's still more to do, which is like, the implication is that the cycle never ends, and crime is very cyclical, and that's kind of what that show is trying to do. But I think you're right. DSP wants a happy ending. He wants the cops to just win. He thinks it's very clean like that. So
exactly. Yeah. So I don't think I had anything else to add. I've just been kind of listening on the side while I take care of some things on the Sunday. So yeah, it's very, I can't even really put together the words for DSP's opinion on quote unquote politics, but I really hate the Kino guys for putting this lighting this fire up under him to think he can do something like this and it actually means something. It's terrible, but I just can't. It's a slow car accident or slow train wreck, whatever they say it is. I can't stop watching.
It is. It definitely is. But good to hear from you, Paul. Thanks for hanging out, and I hope you have a good Sunday.
You too. Thank you so much.
All right, no worries. Bye. All right, we've actually got another call on the troll phone, so we'll take the second caller. Hello, caller. You are on the troll phone. Who am I speaking with, and what's on your mind?
This is Fact 12 again. I just wanted to talk about
you can call me Mr. Good Citizen.
Hold on. Snood is in the Discord.
I'm sorry. Excuse me. I've hacked into your phone line.
Yes. And, so people don't know this, but
let that other caller finish.
Okay.
I will wait my turn.
All right. Snood's gonna wait his turn. Go ahead, caller. You're on.
Okay. So the idea of arresting parents for the crimes of the child it's like fractally stupid, where it's stupid on its face, but then if you break it down, it becomes stupider.
Yes.
Snood probably mentioned that, you know, if that's a law, then most people are just going to not have children.
Right.
But
exactly.
Like, the economy requires that like there be a young population.
Mm-hmm.
So either you just have to abandon Social Security and just like, I don't know, let old people die, or bring in immigrants. And then that brings up the question of immigrants being more likely to commit crime. So this might actually end up raising the crime rate anyways.
Right. It's kind of what I alluded to earlier, where DSP wants to take away the parents, but what if that parent has a second child? And
that's another thing.
You're going to take away the parent from that second child and have them in a bad spot?
And then the fatherless, motherless children, like, are they going to commit more crimes? Like
you're like
they're orphans.
I do agree that absentee parenting is a factor in a lot of these things that are getting brought up with him. But taking away the parents, even if they are a flimsy support system, the parents are there, and I think taking an absentee parent out of a child's life entirely can have dire consequences.
Also, why does he think he's like Trump in any way?
He does.
When Trump got elected, he acted like that's somehow connected to his resurgence. Big quotation marks there.
He basically was like, "There's nowhere to go but up, baby." Exactly. That's what he said.
I thought Trump was a scammer who didn't pay for his helicopter.
Exactly.
I stopped rambling.
No worries. Before you go, anything else on your mind? Any parting words?
No, but I really look forward to more DS politics. This is amazing content.
Yeah, I think as long as he does it, I'm going to make this like a Sunday thing. This is fun. But thanks for calling in again, brother. I appreciate you.
All right. Have a nice night.
All right. Bye. Snood, he's still over there in the Discord. There he is.
Oh! May I speak now? May I finally speak? Finally,
yes,
great.
Snood.
Okay.
Snood, you may. Station manager Snood is on the line. Hello, Snood.
I would just like to quickly amend that I do not approve of my name being read out live on this leftist libtard commie cast.
That's right.
So you can call me Mr. Concerned Citizen. Now listen, okay?
Okay.
I am a big proponent of small government and slashing government spending. So naturally, what I would like to do is ensure that more people are incarcerated, that we incur more, injury to civilians and property by crashing police cruisers through the mall, like
Blues Brothers.
Movie,
yes.
Thank you, that movie. I think, frankly, I don't see why, if a kid stole something under $1,000, that he should not be, tortured to the full extent of the law, and preferably had the flesh slayed from his bones. That's what I want. That's the America I want to grow up in. Okay, I don't know about you.
Well, this is a political show. We've got a concerned citizen who is pro mass incarceration. So you heard it here first. Anything else to say before we let you go, concerned citizen?
No, thank you. I appreciate you letting me get that off my chest. Thank you very much.
All right, I've got. Feel free to call again soon. It was cool talking to you.
Thank you very much.
All right, bye. Well, you had concerned citizen there with his political views. All right, we don't have anybody else on the phones or in the Discord, so we're going to move on to, thank God, the last segment. I got shit to do. I need this to be over so I can go do adult stuff, adult chores.
Actually giving us their take on what happened. So this is a completely neutral third-party observer from Singapore. So I wonder if you guys can figure out who submitted this video. And they're going to give their take on what just happened in the presidential election.
Okay, all right. Way to dock Slayer, by the way. I wonder if you guys could figure out who submitted this video. All right, I need to step away for about 90 seconds. I will be back, but you guys watch this stupidity. I need to step away for just a couple seconds. My watch is going off. Hold on.
Trump's return to the White House. The United States.
Have fun, guys. Behave.
Okay, I agree with that statement.
Hi, this is Adrian Ang, Research Fellow and Coordinator of the U.S. Program at the S. Rajaratnam School of International Studies, Nanyang Technological University. Former President Donald J. Trump has won the 2024 presidential elections by a significant margin.
Volume up? Okay. Volume up indeed. Here we go.
Winning both the Electoral College vote and the popular vote, something which eluded him in 2016. Republicans have also
on. Now my bar is blocking his subtitle.
Retaken the Senate and appear on their way to retaining a majority in the House of Representatives.
They did. As of now, they did. They have everything. They got the House, the Senate, and the presidency.
Thank you very much. Wow.
In this election cycle, about 3/4 of voters said the country was on the wrong track, and a similar proportion of voters said that American democracy was under threat. These are never good for the incumbent, especially when more than half of voters said they were worse off now than they were 4 years ago.
But I don't understand. According to the Kamala Harris campaign, Americans were better. Remember, we're not going back. We've changed for the better. We're not going back because we're better off now. And Trump is going to take away all the good things that we have. But here is literally a neutral observer. All he did was look at polls and issues, took data, and he's stating facts. Singapore is not pro-Trump. I want you to understand that. They're not. This is a completely neutral party. Okay?
For voters, on the top of their minds were so-called pocketbook issues, economic issues having to do with jobs, inflation, affordable housing, voter disaffection.
Whoa, hold on. But I thought that the issues were about women's reproductive rights and Trump becoming a fascist and a
all right, I'm back.
czar that was going to take away all of our rights. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't get it. I don't understand. I thought that's what the election was
good.
about,
A concerned citizen didn't hack the phone lines
Oopsie.
while I was gone. I was concerned about that. Because a certain someone has access to the studio line, as you know.
His character flaws or his antics in the campaign.
So let me get this straight. The American populace didn't care that the Democrats literally prosecuted him, Trump, for something that literally they all do too. They all commit these little white crimes and things, and they all get away with it because none of them prosecute each other. But all of a sudden, when someone's their political rival does it, then they go after him. They totally shot themselves in the foot.
No.
Because if they equally went after everyone this way, then there wouldn't have been an issue. But
what Democratic politician was charged with a crime? DSP. What other Democratic politician was charged with 12 felonies in the last cycle? Give me one. Name one. Hello? Whether I need to be delicate about this. No matter what you believe about the things Trump has done and said, He was factually charged with I think it was 12 felonies. You guys can correct me if I'm wrong. I believe it was 12, somewhere thereabouts. Is there anyone from the left that was successfully charged with 12 felonies? If no, or any felonies for that matter, if you can't name a Democratic politician that was charged by the US justice system, the DOJ, then there's no equivalency. Like you can't make the equivalency. You know why? Because they're not equal. Yeah, I'll agree. Democrats do dark shit all the time. Backroom deals, all that kind of shit. They do. I'm not denying that Democrats get away with shit. They do. Everybody does. But what he's saying is that Donald Trump was charged with 12 crimes, but also Democrats do bad stuff too, so it's the same thing? No, it's not. It's not the same thing.
Fact is, these people do these things all the time. They misappropriate funds, they misclassify things, they do it to benefit themselves because they're rich and powerful.
Yeah, actually, yeah, greedy piggy. Eric Adams. That's right, Eric Adams. I was thinking people sort of at a higher level than that, but yeah, Eric Adams, which was a huge deal. Huge deal in my parts, anyway.
And all their buddies are the people who prosecute for it. So they say, turn a blind eye. I don't care that you did it. But all of a sudden, Trump did the same thing they all do, and he's the devil. Wait a minute. I think the American people were smarter than that. Oopsie poopsie.
Voter disaffection powered.
Your take is oopsie poopsie? Okay.
A Republican wave that swept across the country. This was evident in voting data.
Look at this. That's crazy. Look at this. This is insanity. So basically...
Take your fucking camera down. I want to see the rest of the map. Take your camera down. My God. His camera takes up so much space. Look at that. Look at all this wasted space, dude. That's why I use background removers. I use background removers and I put the stream above me because I don't want to block the stream.
Areas of the country that are ultra liberal. The Northeast and the West Coast voted liberal. The entire rest of the country said
I don't think that that's true. I think California as a state generally leaned very blue and a lot of districts went blue, but there were a lot of red districts in California. There were also a lot of red districts in my state of New York, actually. Like, he's looking at it at such a macro scale, but like there are towns, counties, and districts that will skew the other way, even in a blue state or a red state. He's so reductive. Like, I moved, example, I moved from a city in New York, obviously very left-leaning politically in terms of, you know, who its elected representatives are, to a more rural town 20 minutes north, who is, this town is almost completely conservative in how it votes and just how it behaves. And they're both in the same county in the same state. So, like, you know, voting demographics can vary. They are very complex.
Had enough.
The county level, where the vast majority of the country's 3,000 counties showed a rightward shift in favor of the Republicans.
That's just crazy.
Can also point to a larger structural realignment of the American party system in favor of the Republican Party. Different voters are now moving towards the Republicans, especially young voters, African Americans, Latinos, Asians that were hitherto stalwart parts of.
Yes. So that Zathura, I think I'm saying your name right. Look at your county map. Look at a county voting map and see how split demographics are over geography. It's incredible. It's actually kind of fun because I looked at the county map because I voted in my old town, which is a very Democratic leaning, very diverse sort of town, because we still technically lived there on election day, so that's where we voted. But I checked the map of the entire county for the town we moved to, completely red. So in 20 minutes, I went from a completely red, sort of on the outskirts of a metropolitan area completely blue, sort of semi-metropolitan area to completely red rural town. A lot can change in a 20-minute drive north. You know what I mean? And I think DSP is not really, he's not even really aware of that.
Democratic coalition.
So, maybe if the Democrats actually wanted to win, they should have actually ran on issues that those people cared about, instead of their little issue they picked here and the little issue they picked here and the little. Remember what we saw last week? The woman who sadly was abused when she was 12 and had to have an abortion. the woman who got pregnant and then Roe v. Wade got overturned. She couldn't have the abortion. She had an infection. Okay. Those are the exceptions to the rule. The common voter is not the person in that position.
No, no, I'm not going to loop back on this retardation from last week. I'm not going to.
Bombarded with the bubble, and it's very, very bothersome. But now we actually got to see someone else talk about one of these issues, okay?
I was not going to, I'm sorry for skipping, guys, but I was not going to hear him talk about abortion again because he doesn't understand. He doesn't understand either side of the abortion argument, to be honest.
Okay. I received a $2.
Just because not all voters can have abortions or are in situations where they can get it or where they may need an abortion means it doesn't matter. Hello?
And 25-cent tip.
All right, I don't care.
Reservation. Just a laugh riot. Are you ready? So by the way, last chance. If you want to support the politics show, I hope you've enjoyed. And keep in mind,
you're at $192, dude. You're at $192. $8 from the burger. Obviously, he got it because we got the 3 burgers. But
be a part of this. Please become a member over on the DSP Reacts channel. Once again, I'll show you because many of you were not here earlier on at the beginning of the show. So if you want to be someone who can submit clips, videos,
I don't care. Hello, Burnell. Burnell. Hello. Why is it frozen? Hello, Kick.
About to wrap up.
There we go.
Is regarding a weird thing that happened. Right?
No! Dude, he keeps finding more shit. He said he had 3 segments.
Presidential election was about to take place. Okay? So what had been happening? Right leading up to the night of the actual president.
This is becoming the new DSP Reacts. This will become the new DSP Reacts and like nobody will want to do it. That's why I made this a call-in show. So occasionally I could get other people on here to talk to me because this is torture.
Presidential election here in the United States. The polls were all saying that
I also, can I say, I appreciate that a handful of you have called in on the actual phone. I was hoping for that.
Trump was winning. That Donald Trump had actually been turning the opinions in key swing states. So people were like, whoa, Trump actually has a good chance. Everything had been saying previously that Trump was going to lose or it was going to be a very tight race. All of a sudden, for 2 days before it was saying Trump's going to win. Well, guess what?
All right, I honestly don't care about Trump calling a poll fake because Trump is going to say everything is fake. That's his whole thing. He denies, and then attacks. I'm skipping this segment. I don't care about it. I don't care.
The election.
All right, I want this part. I don't want him reading the article. But
respond, scream, and cope, and okay, get out. So
I want
because
this.
Donald Trump won the election. I have one response to this story. Good. Now, everyone else who's a little whiny baby and can't take it, also go with her. Leave now and let the rational thought people stay behind.
No, because I could say the exact same thing if someone on the left won. And I have heard people say the exact same thing when people on the left win. I had friends of mine that were like, yeah, righties, get the fuck out. And it's like, what are you saying that for? It's just unproductive. What he's saying is just unproductive. If the solution is to move away, then why is he, you know what? We're just moving on.
Okay? Get out. We don't need these kind of fucking people who whine and bitch and complain and cry and...
That's you! That's literally you. That's literally you.
Scream and...
Big ups, Fats12. Good to see you in the chat, brother.
Cope and seethe. Wah! The election. Wah! We don't need them. We're here to try to live and coexist. We don't need...
Wait, hold on. You can't say we're here to try to coexist while also telling a certain type of person to leave. There's something paradoxical and flawed with that logic, Philip.
These people, these rabble-rousers, these idiots who...
Rabble-rousers. Welcome to 1957. I guess I'm a rabble-rouser. I guess I'm a rabble-rouser because I prefer left-leaning policies. I guess I'm a rabble-rouser who should leave the country because I prefer left-leaning policies. But I'm still willing to have a conversation with anybody, honestly.
Don't even understand how democracy works, sitting here crying about.
So democracy is not about telling people to get out, you asshole. That's not what democracy is. Democracy should allow as many people to vote as possible. That's democracy. That's why you not voting discredits you a great deal. Because democracy should mean that everyone that can legally vote should legally vote. And you've chosen not to exercise that right while also starting up a politics stream. So fuck you.
Just leave the fucking country. I wish more celebrities would do this. If you don't like how it works, leave. Stop trying to have an influence over everyone else in this country.
I also don't like when people threaten to leave if a candidate wins. That is also fucking, it's just loser energy, to be honest. When you see celebrities say, I'm going to leave if Trump wins, or a lot of people did for like the first Bush election, where like, if Bush is elected, I'm leaving. And it's like, well, then fuck you then. Like that's not a productive conversation at all. Just shut up. Shut up. Shut up.
Who's a normal...
The solution can't be to just move away. I'm sorry.
...person. Because Ellen DeGeneres is not a normal person. She's insanely rich. Why? I'm not sure. I never thought that her stand-up was funny. I
mean, Ellen DeGeneres is a shrewd businesswoman who carved out a successful career for herself. She's scum. She's a bad person, as has been proven out by behind-the-scenes leaks from her show. She's apparently one of the worst people to work with in show business, period. But she's a success. And every time Phil says she's rich, I don't know why, because she's good at business. She's marketable. She's good at business. She's not marketable anymore, but also she's scum. So I'll agree with Phil. Who the fuck cares what she says? Ellen DeGeneres doesn't have an opinion anymore, in my opinion.
I thought that her show was entertaining or funny.
Yeah, her stand-up sucks. Her stand-up sucks.
I've seen
her stand-up sucks, and her daytime talk show was for boomers, objectively boomers. I know that because my mom liked Ellen DeGeneres a lot. So
several episodes of it, I could literally go right to sleep when it's on. I've never once cracked a smile or thought that there was anything of value. It's the most milquetoast, boring shovel crap that I've ever seen on daytime TV.
I'll agree with him. It's very boring, and honestly, like Ellen DeGeneres would get her hands on some kind of internet meme person like 2 months after the meme had faded. Like she had the apparently kid. If Ellen DeGeneres was still operating, she'd be having Haley Welch, the Hawk Tuah lady, on right about now. I used to say to my friends, as soon as Ellen talks to someone who started some kind of internet meme, the meme is dead. That was like the mark of the death of certain internet memes. If they're talking to Jimmy Kimmel and they're talking to Ellen, the meme is dead. Get off of it.
It never had a lick of value, but people liked safe stuff, and they saw her as the ultimate safe host. Then she got exposed for being not the Miss Nice Woman, the goody two-shoes.
And how many times have you been exposed as an asshole? Over and over and over again. You've exposed yourself as being a monumental internet asshole, and that's why we watch you.
The wholesome, family-friendly person. In fact, she was a bitch. No one liked her. Behind the scenes, people reported all this kind of stuff, that she was abusive, that she was awful to her employees, awful to the guests. Some of the guests literally hated her. But then they go, what's the right thing to do? If you don't go on the Ellen show, people are going to say that basically you didn't really do the right thing and you snubbed her, and then you're going to be bad in Hollywood. People aren't going to like you. So people had to tolerate her for 19 seasons of shit.
Yeah, because that's how Hollywood works. And that's a whole different conversation. Like, a lot of people that run things in Hollywood are objectively monsters. Like, objectively monsters. Like Harvey Weinstein, monster. Ellen DeGeneres, monster. Quentin Tarantino, monster. Maybe to a lesser extent than Weinstein, but Quentin Tarantino is kind of a foot freak and a monster.
And then, finally, people came together and stepped up and exposed her for the vile person she really was.
P. Diddy, monster. Yeah, exactly. Phil acts surprised that like weird narcissistic freak personalities get outed as weird narcissistic freaks. He shouldn't. People knew that Diddy was up to shit for a long time, and people were saying that Ellen was up to her shit for a long time, and people knew Bill Cosby was up to his shit for decades, literally decades. But Hollywood is very much like a hush culture where you don't really talk about things.
And then no one wanted to watch her show anymore. She tried to come back and failed miserably. Good riddance to bad rubbish and rich bitches like her who didn't deserve a lick of success to begin with.
No. Okay, I take issue with this. I take issue with DSP saying that people who are or were successful didn't deserve their success. No. Ellen deserved her success because she got it. She took her success. You can't retroactively take away someone's success. She obviously was successful enough and marketable enough to run a daytime talk show for 13 seasons. So you can't just say you don't deserve your success. Because when people say that about you, you say they're wrong. So by your logic, you don't deserve success because you're not successful now. Because you're not successful now.
Fake-ass people who shove narratives down your throat that are fake. I wish more of Hollywood would leave. Because there's too many people like her who keep trying to sway Americans who are hardworking and live in the real world. Not the planet and the universe they live in and her 17 luxury homes and all this bullshit. We live in the real world. We need.
You do not live in the real world, by the way. You are very much like the privileged people you're criticizing. You don't leave your luxury 3-bedroom condo because he lives in a luxury condo, guys. Like, you have to understand. As someone who just moved into a brand new condo, condos are designed to be luxurious. Like, it is designed to be the nicest place to live possible. You live in a place that is 10 times better than most people live in. So don't act like you live in the real world. Secondly, you make your money by sitting on your ass, playing video games, and begging for it. That's not real world shit. You don't report to a manager. You don't provide a service. You don't have a job. You don't live in the real world.
Inflation to go down. We need prices to go down. We need jobs and food on the table and crime to go down. We want our borders secure. She doesn't have to worry about any of that ever because she's
okay. So DSP does like Trump then because he laid out Trump's entire platform. Okay, DSP, you like Trump. Just say you like Trump. It's cool. It's cool. Like I've said a million times, I have no problem with talking to anybody or whatever that likes Trump. That's not an issue for me. What I don't like is that he loves Trump, but he's not saying it. He's being a coward. And I don't like political cowardice. Just the same way, I have no problem saying that I did not like Trump and that I voted for Kamala Harris. I have no problem telling you that and telling you exactly why. Is my opinion valid? You be the judge, but I'm willing to have a real opinion about it.
Fucking rich. So of course she wanted Kamala Harris to win. But then she can't take the loss. Oh, now for 4 more years we're going to have Trump. Good.
Also, Ellen is a narcissist who wants attention. Don't you think, DSP, that she said shit like that so people would write about it and people would give her platform? The embattled Ellen DeGeneres generates a soundbite so people will talk about her. Don't you think that might have also been a business move? Think about it.
Bye. So long. Don't let the door hit your ass on the way out. No one's going to miss you. And by the way, in the UK, no one's going to give you a show because no one likes you there either.
Yeah, Barry Lyndon says Phil is just jumping on the bandwagon. He is. And I bet, even though he likes Trump, obviously, he'd be criticizing Trump if Kamala Harris won. In a separate timeline, if Kamala Harris took the Oval Office, he'd be saying, the pendulum is left. All this and all that crap. And he'd be criticizing Trump as unhinged, unwell, all that shit. He absolutely would be.
There. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that is it for DS Politics this week. I hope that you enjoyed the second show ever. Thank you. Last shout outs here. Shout out to $250,000 Man. We're an absolutely great audience.
All right, I don't care.
Tomorrow morning, everyone, have a good night.
All right.
And, of course, God bless America. See you tomorrow. Bye-bye.
God bless America. Fuck you. All right. I'll do one final call-in segment. If we got any callers on the phone or that want to hop into the Discord waiting room. So big ups, everybody. I'll give you that number again. That number again to call in on your physical phone to the troll phone is 1-917-740-8933. That number one more time, 1-917-740-8933. Your number will remain anonymous, but if you wish to ensure that for yourself, please use *67 as you're dialing if you just want to make absolutely sure. And then also you can jump into the waiting room link for the Discord that I posted in the chat. So we will go to the phones if it rings. If not, I'm trying to think. Let me find a cool video to send you guys out with. Let's see. I'm just gonna look. We need a palate cleanser. We need a palate cleanser. I'm just gonna look to see if we got any sort of DSP palate cleansers. Oh, okay. I know what song we're gonna go out on. I found the song. I'm gonna give it another couple seconds for the troll phone to potentially ring. Okay, no troll phone on the oh, wait, we've got a concerned citizen already on the line. Concerned citizen from the Discord side. What's on your mind? What do you have to say?
Hello again, Logan. It's me, first time caller, long time listener. What was I gonna say? Fuck, now I forgot what I was gonna say. Oh, I said this in the chat, but did you notice like how quickly DSP went from like as soon as his guy got in, like now it's not oh, we need to come together, we need to work together, we need to cross the aisle.
Correct.
Now it's like, get the fuck out if you don't agree
Yes.
with me. And guess what? We're stunting on you hoes now that the big ass the Republicans are in every inch of the government now.
That's right.
And so eat it, wet fucked.
Yeah, that is very much like the get the fuck out rant that he just did is very reminiscent of Eat It, 100%.
It just kind of goes to show you the sort of like intellectual bankruptcy, and also like the like how much like I mean it's just indicative of how much of a farce this entire DS politics thing is. It's just an excuse for him to read the newspaper and get pissed at it and yell and get regards to give him money for it.
Yeah, and you know what, concerned citizen, I just want to point out you mentioned intellectually bankrupt, so that is proven. DSP bankruptcy number 2 was on the intellectual side. We got him. Bankruptcy number 2.
I mean, the next is morals, I guess.
Yeah.
Next, well, there's also creativity. Also,
all those 4
so
bankruptcies. Wow. Well, he is racking them up. Yeah, it's. I feel like this is just an extrapolation of that segment he did a year or two ago, where he did it only a few times, but it was the old man yelling at clouds. It's just that. It's just that with a dedicated stream. That's it.
It's so bizarre. It's just so crazy to see what someone like so internalized, like be so upset that his guy didn't win the election last time, that like he considers himself to be a victim of some weird political injustice for the last 4 years. And now he's like, it's my turn to cash in now, boys. Pendulum swung back and turnabout's fair play.
Yeah, and the thing is, he likes to fence sit, but like I've said a couple times in the stream, his like venom and his vitriol does give up his political views like quite starkly. Like the idea of him saying all you lefties get the fuck out tells you exactly where he stands.
We don't need any more rich bitches like this.
Yes.
And she's probably, I heard she's a lesbian too, so get her out of here for that reason as well.
I will say, speaking of Ellen DeGeneres, to get a little ALT/Derek mode on, Portia de Rossi, her wife is a snack and a half, my brother. I would not say no to Portia.
Now you got me thinking about Portia de Rossi. I'll have to go. Thank you very much for the stream, Logan. Great stream.
All right, well, thanks for coming by, concerned citizen. Have a great day.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. And that is it. That is it for the first session of Troll Talk. Hope you all enjoyed it. Keep in mind, if you call the phone number off stream, it's not going to ring. I'm not going to get anything, and you will not be able to leave a message. So call the number during Troll Talk segments only, and because you can't leave shit, you're just going to get a busy signal, by the way. But thanks for coming by, everybody. Really appreciate you. I did pick a song by Ludwig World Order, music video style thing by Ludwig World Order to play you guys out, and then that's going to be it for the day. But big ups everybody that called in. Love this. I'm going to try to do this as many Sunday mornings as I can, and even if he stops doing politics, we'll find other topics.
WWE Champions time.
Thanks for the support.
Oh my goodness.
Iwamoto says, awesome stream. This was a lot fun.
Thank you for the 5, Iwamoto. I appreciate you calling in as well, brother. But I'm gonna send you guys out like this. So big ups, everybody. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday wherever you are.
It's just a short abbreviation. goes woof woof woof. Cat goes, bird goes tweet, and mouse goes squeak squeak. Cow goes moo, frog goes and the elephant goes toot toot. Duck say quack quack quack, and fish go I got baited, and the seal goes ah. But there's one sound that no one knows. Snake say. Snake say. I literally never said click the ad. I said it erroneously in a video. I'm not one of these shills. You see me in every video wearing my t-shirt. In fact, I'm wearing one of my shirts from Teespring right now. I said, damn, you know, that girl deserves a smack for acting like that. Fucking bitch of a kid who I would have slapped in real fucking life. Subscribe. Get those custom emotes and shit. The sub-hype emo is here. We can finally get excited over new subs. And I'm a children's entertainer.
This guy's a bitch. What's the guy? I'm watching his Twitch.
This guy's how he eradicated. That's the guy that masturbated. I'm a thief, I'm a liar, professional scammer, beggar, a cheater, a video spammer. You don't need a PayPal to get fucking sleazy asshole. You better take a sip. Sub, tip, donate, cheer me. They don't like that. Got the video theory. No one's talking to me. Things are slow. Pop mode activated. Let's go.